Detroit Red Wing Hockey is brought to you by AMC, your Metro Detroit AMC dealer, featuring the American Eagle. And by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Peschke and the all-new Peschke Great American Premium line of products. And by Little Caesars, a winner any way you slice it. And by Bank of the Commonwealth, trying hardest to help.
Today, from the Nassau Coliseum, the Detroit Red Wing Hockey Club brings you the game between the Detroit Red Wings and the New York Islanders. And we say hi, everybody, from here in our telecast location of the Nassau Coliseum. This will be the fourth meeting of the two teams sit able, the fourth and final. The Red Wings have won two of the first three, the Islanders the other. We'll see what's going to happen here today.
Well, the big thing today, Bruce, is the fact that we have an Olympic star, Ken Morrow, playing his first National League game. And he has stolen the thunder from one of the great hockey players, Denis Potvin, returning to the Islanders after missing 41 games. It's going to be interesting to see how much Morrow plays and how well he does here in the National Hockey League.
Ken Morrow, of course, a young man outside the Detroit area, Davis in Michigan, born in Flint. And we, too, are rather anxious to see his first performance and just how much he plays. As for Denis Potvin, he's missed the last 41 games with injuries. He's back, making his first appearance in all that time here today. The Red Wings, well, they're going to surprise us a little bit by starting Jimmy Rutherford in goal for the second time in the last two games. And the two teams are getting ready to get this hockey game underway. So we'll be back with the opening face-off in just a moment. Well, you look now at the three officials, Wally Harris, the referee in the center, and his two linesmen, Ray Scapanello and Paul Flaherty. Flaherty on the near side. The Red Wings and the New York Islanders. The Wings, who in 9 games without winning a hockey game, have now won their last two, both at the Joe Louis Arena, beating Minnesota North Stars, and then, of course, Thursday night, the Red Wings upending Washington with this man, Jimmy Rutherford, playing his first game in 13. And the Red Wings won it 4-1, though Rutherford did have a rather easy time of it all, Sid. He had only 18 shots, and most of those were fired from the center ice area.
Well, the club played very well in front of Jimmy, and more so the defense. I thought Reed Larson probably had one of his best performances of the season. Willie Huber played a very strong game, very long. They all chipped in, the forwards back-checked, and they may do that, the fact that Rutherford hasn't played that often.
Well, this hockey game is underway. The Wings are starting it with Peter Mahovlich at center ice. Errol Thompson right side. Over on the left wing, George Lyle. Mahovlich left it in the corner for Willie Huber ahead to Thompson. Thompson was bowled over by Dave Lewis. Now that puck coming out to Tonelli, and he fired it wide. Going into the corner after Errol Thompson, Huber plays it the opposite side. Jim Korn ahead now to Thompson. Over on the left wing, this is George Lyle. Bouncing it wide of the net. Richard Brodeur is in goal for the New York Islanders, playing his second game. They go in behind the New York net. Number 4 is Bob Lorimer, cleared it into the corner. Tonelli out to center ice for Trottier. Here's Brian Trottier over the line into the Detroit zone, trying to work around Korn. He flipped it off to the side of the goal. Rutherford grabs that and holds onto it. Well, the third member of the Bossy Trottier line, Clark Gill, is on the injured list. He's not in uniform for this game.
And Mike Bossy's coming right back with a big goal-scoring season. He's in 59 games, has scored 42 goals. And, of course, Trottier's got 33 goals and 51 assists, leading the club.
Could make mention again of the youngster in goal, Richard Brodeur. He was recalled from the Indianapolis their farm club in the Central Hockey League, and he played his first game Wednesday night, and he beat Quebec by a score of 5-3. Billy Smith not in uniform. There's a quick shot from the line, knocked away by Jimmy Rutherford. Very long, picks it up out in front. Jean Potvin, number 3, fired the shot. Mike Foligno dumped it into the corner. Tries to work around Gordy Lane. Garry Howatt goes in after it. Now Howatt left it right there for Nystrom. Bob Nystrom in behind his own goal. The Wings have McCourt out with Ogrodnick and Foligno, Reed Larson and Barry Long. This is Nystrom. Puck went off of his stick. Ogrodnick drops it back now to Barry Long. Over on the right side, Reed Larson rolled it out to center ice. It's shot right back in by Howatt. Howatt and Dale McCourt head into the Detroit zone after it. Getting into it was Larson. Larson tipped it ahead. Foligno couldn't hold it. There's a shot by Nystrom right on. And Rutherford went low and knocked that away. Now Reed Larson heads out again. Here's Larson from center ice. Pass broken up. Then Ogrodnick took it over the line. It's cleared to the corner by defenseman Lane. Out on the left side, Howatt clears it now to Nystrom at center ice. Bob Nystrom worked away from Barry Long, but coming back, Larson took it, lost it. Dale McCourt had bounced away from him, but the Wings will head out. Here's McCourt. McCourt ahead, too far for Foligno, and off Long. Long really upended Foligno over the line, and they bump a second time. Now that's Gordy Lane for New York, clearing it ahead. Coming out with it, Wayne Merrick. Merrick carries into the Detroit zone. Kallur tried to get to it. Rutherford cleared it into the corner. Bob Bourne, number 14, along with LeBratton, take it to the corner. And the play is whistled down there.
And we have a broken piece of glass here where Willie Huber took a player into the board, so there'll be a little delay probably while they try and fix that.
And while they do, we'll tell you there's no score as you look at Denis Potvin. We'll be back after this message. Well, they have still not replaced the glass. Finally, a policeman down below us took the old piece out, and the linesman comes in with a new one.
Well, that's saving work, I would think, Bruce. The people that work around the building, I don't see any of them must have handed the glass from somewhere, but they're ready to resume. I just want to mention one thing about Ken Morrow. Playing his first game, no doubt he's a nervous youngster, and we'll watch for his first appearance on the ice, but he's going to be used to seeing the red uniform because back in 74-75 he played for the junior wings right in Detroit, and that was one of his greatest thrills, he said, until, of course, winning the gold medal with the Olympic team just last week.
That was in his pre-Beers day.
Yes. Pre-college day. He went to Bowling Green then after that.
Wayne Merrick now is at center ice, won the draw, but it got by Lorimer. The Wings now have Nedemansky out with Paul Woods and Danny LeBratton. Billy Hogabaum made the trip into New York. He participated in the warm-up, but he is not in uniform. The Wings are a player over. He suffered a Charlie horse. Now coming out is Merrick. Merrick a pass on the right side. That's Kallur taking it in toward the corner. Going in with him, Tommy Bergman. The pass came out. Potvin tipped it along the boards, but Willie Huber has it. Now Paul Woods on the right side for Nedemansky. His pass to Danny LeBratton, carrying in. LeBratton dropped it back for Woods with a shot, and that deflected away off Potvin. Nedemansky. Now Ned off the side of the net to LeBratton. He's got Huber moving in. He put it right out in front, but that deflected over the glass and into the crowd.
You know, and Paul Woods has helped this line an awful lot with his skating and forechecking. It gives Nedemansky and LeBratton time to get into holes and look for passes. They're two of the best passers in the National League.
Ken Morrow wearing number 6 on the ice, his first National Hockey League appearance. And as you say, against the team he probably watched more than any other.
There's no doubt about that. And he's a big boy, 6'4", 205 pounds.
And the crowd here gives him quite an ovation. And he clears the puck into the corner to Gord Lane. It's knocked away, came back out center ice. Back after it, Tonelli, number 27, clearing it back to Morrow. Morrow firing it off to the side and in behind the Detroit goal. Going in after it, Reed Larson. Larson lost it, but covering up was Korn. He lost it. And then Korn tipped it away from Bossy. Paul Woods drops it back now for Danny LeBratton. It comes back to Korn. Out on the right side, Reed Larson. Larson playing it deep into the New York zone. That's Bossy going after it. It's played now to Morrow. Morrow clearing it to the blue line at center ice, Tonelli. Tonelli took the long shot. Rutherford clears that away. Off the boards with it, Nedemansky ahead to Glenn Hicks. Hicks number 23 with Polonich trailing. Hicks handed it back, Polonich the shot. And Brodeur knocked that away. His first real save. Coming right back now, Bossy. Tonelli, now it's Lane. That's Trottier, stopped right at the line. Puck tipped back off center ice. Tonelli cleared it ahead now, and Bossy brings it back in. He's checked by Reed Larson. John Potvin. Potvin clearing back into the Detroit zone. Tried to center it. Larson covered up on him. Danny Bolduc sent to the ice by Tonelli. That puck still in the corner. They battle there for it. Came out in front. Korn will play it. Jim Korn of the Wings. He's got Polonich coming up the right side. Took it over the line. His pass off Polonich's skate. And then Polonich tied up by Dave Lewis. This is Hicks. Hicks cleared it into the corner to the opposite side. Jean Potvin checked there by Bolduc, and the puck came loose for Bossy. He was checked by Polonich. Jim Korn hands it off to Hicks. Hicks took the shot, but Bolduc still coming back, and the play is offside. No score. We'll be back in just a moment. So we are with you again from here at the Nassau Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders. The Red Wings and the Islanders have played a 0-0 tie thus far. 4 minutes, 43 seconds of the first period by the board. Errol Thompson clearing it into the New York zone. Potvin plays it now to Dave Lewis. Lewis off to the side of the Detroit goal. Tommy Bergman going in after it. Now Tommy starting out right out in front of Jimmy Rutherford. Turns it back now to Willie Huber. Errol Thompson over on the left wing to George Lyle, and that's Peter Mahovlich deflecting it into the New York zone. Potvin cleared it to Lewis. Now Lewis over on the left side, coming out with it Howatt, but Willie Huber takes over there. It's cleared back to Huber right at his own blue line. Huber took a long shot. That's knocked down by Brodeur. Lewis cleared it out on the left side to Garry Howatt. Howatt plays it all the way back into the Detroit zone, going back after it. Tommy Bergman. Bergman cleared it out to center ice. That's knocked away by Nystrom. Now Nystrom wheels it in behind the Detroit goal. Going in after it, Willie Huber. Huber out on the right side to Errol Thompson, left wing. That's Lyle turning back on his own blue line. Now that's Tommy Bergman. Bergman handing it off to Thompson. Errol Thompson leading the three-man Detroit rush, but Thompson takes the long shot. Brodeur handles that easily. In behind his own goal now is Potvin. Denis Potvin on the left side, too far out in front of Bob Bourne. Reed Larson turns. Larson clearing it back to Mike Foligno, and he's knocked down a second time, this time by Potvin. McCourt carried in, but he's stopped by Lorimer. That's Bourne clearing it into the corner. It'll take them there by Ogrodnick. He tried to set up McCourt. McCourt picks it up, fires a shot. The save made, the puck loose in front, and finally cleared away by Merrick as the Wings had their biggest chance, and Brodeur made the first save. On the play as then the puck lay loose. Now it's Bourne carrying it back out center ice. Merrick cleared it along the boards. It bounced in behind the Detroit goal. Rutherford to the open wing. Merrick's going to hold it in. Merrick's pass will go in behind the Detroit goal. This is Reed Larson. We near the 7-minute mark of the first period, no score. Merrick shooting it in behind the Detroit goal. Rutherford stops it there for Larson. Now Reed Larson. Left side pass taken by Ogrodnick. He drops it back for McCourt. McCourt the long shot. Brodeur deflects that into the corner. Lane went in after it. His short pass didn't come out. The Wings battle to hold it in. Now moving down the ice. Here's Trottier over the line. Trottier fired wide. On the right side, Morrow dumped it right out in front. That deflected into the corner. And Reed Larson, he's tied up immediately by Tonelli. Here's Trottier with it. Trottier, he was checked. Good move on the part of Barry Long. Now it's Foligno coming back out. Mike Foligno tried to move it out to Dale McCourt. He was tied up by Bossy. McCourt gets it loose. That's John Ogrodnick backhanding it into the New York zone. Coming out with it now, Mike Bossy. Here's Bossy dropping it back to Morrow. Morrow fired it off the glass deep into the Detroit end, going in after it Larson. Larson, watched by Bossy, took it away from him, but covering up now in the corner, Nedemansky. Paul Woods at center ice, LeBratton ahead of him. Here's LeBratton away from Morrow, and he's shot wide. And it's taken off the boards by Bossy as LeBratton cut right in. Covering up at center ice now, Paul Woods. Woods back over the line. He's dumped by Morrow, who's going to get his first penalty in the National Hockey League. And the Red Wings are going to have a power play chance. We have a pause in the action with a score tied 0-0, and we're back in a moment.
Paul Woods makes quite a play here, bounces around, then Morrow gets a stick involved with him and pulls him down. Morrow's first penalty here in the National League, as Bruce mentioned, and he's going to be a watcher for a while now, sitting there in the penalty box.
Penalty for
a very, very close check-in hockey game.
Tripping at 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Now Nedemansky. Woods and LeBratton up front. Nedemansky handed it. They scored! Danny LeBratton taking the pass from Nedemansky. And the Wings have a power play goal and a 1-0 lead.
There you go, the Nedemansky to LeBratton play. Nedemansky looked like he was going to drop it back. It's a beautiful play. The face-off comes back to the point to Willie Huber. He dumps it in the corner to Nedemansky. Now Nedemansky looks as though he's going to put it back to Huber, and he spots Danny LeBratton over by himself. LeBratton didn't get too much wood on it, but he got enough to get it by Brodeur before he could make the move.
So the Red Wings lead the game 1-0 on LeBratton's power play goal at 8 minutes and 21 seconds. Just 9 seconds after Morrow went into the penalty box. Danny LeBratton now with 27 goals on the season.
The assist to number 20, Václav Nedomensky, and number 7, Willie.
Now here's Bob Bourne going after the puck deep into the Detroit zone. As he got there, they waved off the icing. Now they do call it.
He missed that because it did touch Bob Bourne's stick, but he didn't see it. And,
well, he did wave it off the first time.
He waved it off because they both went over it then. He didn't think that there was a play, but then finally Jim Korn came in and touched it. Now he called it icing.
LeBratton's 27th, Nedomansky and Huber at 8 minutes and 21 seconds, and the Red Wings lead the hockey game by a score of 1-0.
And it's nice to see the Red Wings score a power play goal. Young Morrow is going to remember this penalty, the first penalty of his career, and while sitting in the penalty box, the Wings took advantage and scored the first goal of the game.
He didn't have to sit there too long. It took just 9 seconds. Now Denis Polonic, he's got Hicks on the left side and Bolduc on the right wing. The play is in the New York end. This is Lane carrying in behind his own zone. Tambellini starts out now for the Islanders. Tambellini drops a pass back for Lane, right back to Morrow. Morrow firing it off to the side of the Detroit goal, but Tambellini had moved in ahead of the play. It's offside. It's a star-studded evening. The industry's finest gather for the Golden Globe Awards. That'll be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and that'll be right here on TV 50. Incidentally, in our first intermission, we're going to reflect back to a game that we talked about for so long and went off so successfully. The Detroit Red Wing Alumni Association, the old-timers, against the present-day Red Wings, played at the final game at Olympia Stadium a week ago Thursday, and what a fun night it was. You'll be taking a look at some of the players, hearing from them, and also parts of the game, including Gordie Howe scoring the last goal there. There's Glenn Hicks taking a long shot. Brodeur almost deflected it into the corner of the net. It went just wide. Coming out with it now, Tonelli. That's Bossy, it was number 12, Duane Sutter, who went in ahead of the play offside. So they'll come back out over the Detroit blue line. Tonelli's been playing out on the left wing of the line in place of the injured Gillies.
Al Arbour's mixing his lines up a little bit. One thing I wanted to mention here early in the game, the Wings are doing something that they did the other night when they won the game against Washington. They're keeping their defensemen well up over the blue line. They're making the Islanders make plays. There's Al Arbour behind the Islander bench with the players. But when the defense stand up like that, Bruce, it takes a lot of plays away from the forwards coming down. It's when you give ground to Trottier and those fellas that you can really get in trouble.
Now this is Lewis, Dave Lewis, carrying back into the Detroit zone, slowed up by Bolduc. Very Long into the corner after it. He was chased by Nystrom. Long cleared it back into the New York zone. Jean Potvin back after it. In behind his own goal, Potvin starts out now with a pass, coming up to Harris. Billy Harris, his shot deflected off to the side of the Detroit goal. They're going to call a penalty. Bolduc is going to go off for interference, and he was a little bit surprised on the call.
And I'm a little surprised on a call like that.
So while Bolduc heads in, we'll pause now for this message. Sid, I think the only person on the ice or here in the building that saw the penalty was the referee.
Wally Harris.
We don't have it. Videotape-wise, the crowd didn't realize there had even been a penalty called until Bolduc went in and was announced.
I couldn't believe it, and it's a cheap one, I'll say that.
Minor little play just coming back inside the Detroit zone. But Bolduc off for interference at 9:56. Here's Paul Wood as a penalty killer. Woods pulls up at the New York line. He hit the referee with it. Now it's taken by Trottier. He dropped it back now. There's Denis Potvin. Denis Potvin cleared it. Bossy took the shot and Rutherford stopped him. Puck back on the line. Jean Potvin handing it back to Trottier again. That was a big save by Rutherford. Losing his stick now, Larson, but the puck came back out center ice and Larson has a chance to go after a new one. Trottier carries back in, just barely onside. Trottier handing it now to Tonelli. And then Trottier deflected it wide of the Detroit goal. The Islanders with the extra man. Back it comes now to Denis Potvin. Potvin at the left point with a shot deflected to the net, and Rutherford grabs it there. And a minute 15 remaining in the Bolduc penalty.
And what a save Jimmy Rutherford made on Bossy. Bossy had him off balance. Potvin is a very valuable player to this hockey club. He takes his shot. It's deflected out in front there, but Jimmy Rutherford smothered it before anybody could get the loose rebound. But a while ago, just before that, Bossy had Jimmy at his mercy, and he tried to give a little deke, and Jimmy stayed with him and beat him on a terrific play at the corner of the net.
So now Trottier goes in against Dale McCourt off to the right side of the Detroit goal. Trottier won the draw. Here's Denis Potvin, takes another shot. That went just wide. Willie Huber fires it along the boards. It got by a Potvin, goes the length of the ice. And a minute remaining in the penalty to Detroit's Bulldog. John Potvin in behind the New York goal. Now he starts out. His pass ahead to Bossy. Michel Bossy over the line into the Detroit zone. Bossy handles it well, hands it off to Jean Potvin, now brother Denis. Right out in front, the puck is loose, knocked away, and driven into the corner by Errol Thompson, who didn't get it out. Potvin will hold it at the left point. Potvin's pass then knocked away by Errol Thompson, and Thompson knocked down Potvin. The two of them went to the ice. Here's Jean Potvin back in his own zone. A half a minute left in the New York power play. Bob Bourne ahead now to Trottier. Trottier played it back to Bourne. Bossy's cutting in, but Errol Thompson knocked it away. And then when Bossy did get to it, his shot was driven away. Here now is Denis Potvin. Took another shot, knocked away again by Rutherford, and again the Wings clear it down the ice with 10 seconds left. And Jimmy Rutherford has been big in the Detroit goal thus far. John Potvin. Potvin with Kallur on the right side. Kallur picked it up, but the play is offside, and 1 second is left in the penalty.
Detroit got a little bit of a break right there. They had trouble making their change. Here's a case where Thompson made the save, or made the play on the puck coming across to Bossy. Bossy was taking a shot before he got possession of the puck. But here's Denis Potvin again with that shot, and Jimmy Rutherford just kicked it out beyond Bossy, so there was no rebound. But I was mentioning the change. The Wings made a bad change as the Islanders were coming right up through center ice, and thank goodness they went offside because the Wings only had 3 players on the ice.
Now Bolduc is back on, and the Red Wings have fought off the New York power play. Morrow in behind his own goal starts out. Here's Ken Morrow, left side pass to Bourne, over the line. Kallur back to Bourne, now Morrow. It bounced away from him. Morrow went to the corner with it, given a bump by a former teammate, Jim Korn, who was, of course, a part of the Olympics until he decided to turn pro. There's a long shot from the line, fired by Bourne, and Rutherford kicks that away. In behind his own goal, Reed Larson tipped it Netamansky. Gordy Lane knocked it away from him. That's Bourne with it. Bourne handing it back to Wayne Merrick. He brought it back to the line. Morrow dumped it in behind the Detroit goal. Korn in after it. Out on the right side. Netamansky didn't move for it. Lane holds it in. Finally, Rutherford let it go to the corner. And Reed Larson gets it ahead. And here now is Woods. Paul Woods, he's got Netamansky with him, the two of them over the line. Woods took the shot. Oh, and I'll tell you, Brodeur just barely got to that, but he made the good move on it when he did. Play came back out center ice. Netamansky. Scott LeBratton ahead of him, drops it back for Larson. Now Larson played it to Big Ned. He stopped right at the line, and Merrick will head out. 6 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the first period. Game is 1-0 Detroit. Back over the line, Bourne. Bourne around Korn. He got just a piece of it on the shot. It goes into the corner. Going in behind his own goal, Larson. Out on the left side, LeBratton let it come out to center ice, and Lewis left it there now for Gary Howatt. Back it comes to Lewis. Lewis, he was checked by Foligno. Puck picked up by Korn, ahead to Dale McCourt. McCourt on the left side. There's Ogrodnick. He scores! And the Wings lead it 2-0.
And that's what John Ogrodnick has to start doing, shooting the puck. He's got a tendency to want to get in and see the whites of their eyes. He just let that go from an angle. Beat Brodeur right along the ice. Beautiful pass play coming up. McCourt over to Ogrodnick. Ogrodnick goes right to the top of the circle and lets one right along the ice, and it beats Brodeur on the short side.
Brodeur
through
got
his
a piece
feet.
of it.
It's right through his feet and stick. A big goal for the Wings to give them a 2-0 lead.
So John Ogrodnick, who hasn't scored a lot but has been playing very strongly, gets his 4th on the season. McCourt will draw the 1 assist. Larson, very possibly the other. Here's Ogrodnick moving in again, a backhand shot. No, Jim Korn draws the other assist.
That's the 4th of the year for Ogrodnick.
Now the play is at center ice. Here's McCourt ahead to Mike Foligno. Foligno with Lewis ahead of him. Lewis deflected it in the corner. Foligno back on the line. That's shot by Tommy Bergman. Knocked down in front in a 3-man rush. Here's Howatt over the line into the Detroit zone. His shot deflected away by Barry Long. Nystrom played it off to the side of the goal, and very long just knocked it away as it bounced out in front. Ogrodnick takes McCourt's pass. That long shot. Brodeur stopped that, and Lewis goes in after it. 5:35 to play in the first period. 2-0 Detroit. Garry Howatt. And Nystrom went in. The puck knocked away by Harold Thompson out at center ice. Mahavlich knocks it down for George Lyle. That shot deflected wide. Lyle goes in after it. In behind the goal. That's Morrow who played it to the opposite corner. Harold Thompson held it in. George Lyle, number 18, given a bump by Morrow. And the puck taken away by the Islanders. Then Lyle battling for it, cleared it in behind the net. Gordy Lane out on the right side to Nystrom. Nystrom slowed up by Mahavlich, then taken away by Korn. Korn handed it right back to Morrow, though. Now over the line, Tambellini whistled a shot wide. It bounced right by 2 or 3 players, and Mahavlich starts out. Peter Mahavlich dropping it back now for Thompson. Ahead too far for Lyle. Duane Sutter, number 12. Off to the side of his own net. Being bothered there by Lyle. He dumped it back of the goal, and Gord Lane will take it. Now Lane ahead to Bourne. Bob Bourne's pass knocked away by Willie Huber. Huber played it right back in. Morrow has it. Ken Morrow playing it off the boards. It'll carry him in behind the Detroit goal. Korn goes in after it. But Jimmy Rutherford's going to play it. Now to Peter Mahavlich, ahead to Harold Thompson. He's got Lyle. Lyle was looking in the opposite direction. The Wings go for a player change. Denis Potvin. Play broken up by Willie Huber. Ahead now to Danny Bolduc. Bolduc with a shot. That was blocked by Lorimer, who knocked Bolduc to the ice. Glenn Hicks gave a bump to Lorimer. And coming back now, the Islanders with Howatt coming out center ice. Howatt, a bouncing shot. Rutherford handles that. Cleared it in behind his goal, but Howatt will go in after it. Garry Howatt off the side of the net. That's Sutter putting it out in front. And the save made, and on a rebound, another save is Rutherford. They jam after it, and the puck is in the net.
Boy, they had 4 or 5 whacks at it. Jimmy Rutherford made 2 or 3 saves, and they finally jammed it in. They must have had 3 or 4 rebound chances. I don't know who did finally score the goal, but that was just a case of the puck sitting right there.
Wings had enough time to move it out, but they didn't.
Little pass from behind the net, straight out. Jimmy Rutherford makes a big save right there. Now a chance to flip it in. That
was Potvin.
Potvin missed it. Finally scored by Howatt, I guess. Oh, Sutter scored it. He had to take 3 or 4 pokes at it before he finally put it in.
Number 5, Denis Potvin.
Well, Sutter gets the goal, but the Red Wings should have had it out of there by then.
Yes, they certainly should have.
Now there's going to be a penalty coming up to Barry Long on the delayed call. Bossy goes in behind the Detroit net, brought it right out in front. He's checked, and as Hicks gets it, he's knocked down. But it'll be to the Detroiter. Long picking up the penalty. So with the game 2-1 Detroit, we'll be back with the Islander power play in a moment.
It's a case of the play coming right back in after scoring. Barry Long went well out over the blue line to meet him, and he just got the stick involved in his feet and pulled him down. It was a penalty that had to be called. He just got too much power in the stick, knocked him down before he could make a play.
And we're back to the live action. Rutherford grabs the puck off to the side of his own goal, holds on to it. They've used up 7 seconds of Long's penalty, off for tripping at 16 minutes and 27 seconds. That's the second Detroit penalty. The Islanders have had 1. Detroit scored a power play goal. 2-1 now, the Red Wings lead. I just kept waiting for some Red Wing player to come in and drive those 2 forwards out of there.
I did too. I thought
they scored.
With Rutherford making the saves and being down on his hands and knees, someone had to come in to help him, but they didn't, so they eventually put it in.
Marcel Pronovo is here in New York watching this hockey game. He's a spectator, and we'll be watching again tomorrow night against the Leafs in Detroit. Then probably will become very active as an assistant coach. Here's Mike Bossy, turned around by Huber. The shot by Potvin. Oh, and Rutherford went low and blocked that. Back on the right point. It comes now to Jean Potvin. McCourt tipped it away. It came right back. He hands it to brother Denis again. Denis Potvin with a shot, deflected away by Huber. It goes into the corner. Paul Woods trying to dig it out. He did. And Reed Larson will shoot it the length of the ice, and they've used up 40 seconds of Long's penalty. Denis Potvin right out in front of Brodeur. Clears it up on the left side for Bossy. 42 goals for Michel Bossy. Hands it back to Potvin. Potvin stopped right at the line. Harold Thompson just rather nonchalantly dumps it back down into the New York zone. A minute left in Long's penalty. Now this is Bob Bourne again, moving it out center ice. Islanders changing on the move. Bourne digging into the Detroit zone. Slowed up, but Wayne Merrick holds it in. Sent it in behind the goal. Tommy Bergman didn't get it out. Potvin held it in. Bourne off the side of the net to Merrick. Wayne Merrick played it back to the line. That's Jean Potvin handing it back to Denis again. Denis back to Jean Potvin. Off the side of the net, Bourne being chased there by Tommy Bergman. Merrick digs it out. Wayne Merrick in behind the goal. Played it back. Denis Potvin's shot blocked by Errol Thompson. But going after it, Kallur, number 28. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty. They're down on top of the puck. Face off to the left of Jim Rutherford. Far and away the busier of the two goaltenders in the game thus far.
Well, the Islander power play has looked terrific with Potvin back in their lineup. Everything seems to come back out to the point, and he either takes the shot or feeds it over to the other point man. The Wings have to get just a little more physical in their own end when they're killing these penalties, because they've had chances to knock it away from them in the corners, but they're letting the Islanders actually beat them to it. It's been a good hockey game, a good up-and-down game. Brodeur has been tested a few times, and Jimmy Rutherford, with these power plays, has had to come up big.
Now Merrick won the draw. There's Morrow with a shot. Rutherford knocked it away. It came out in front. And McCourt fired it out center ice. 10 seconds left in the Detroit penalty. Morrow's pass broken up. This time by Tommy Bergman. He finds the opening. That'll lead up the rest of the penalty time as long as up and getting set to come back on. And Detroit is at full strength. So they fought off the two Islander power plays. Now that's Bob Bourne, number 14, back into the Detroit zone. A shot went wide. Taken off the boards by Mike Foligno. Foligno had trouble with Bourne. Tips it back now to Larson. Reed Larson playing it ahead. It bounces out center ice. Gord Lane, formerly of Washington, has it there. Pass knocked down by Ogrodnick. John Ogrodnick too far for Dale McCourt. Morrow clears on the left side for Garry Howatt. Back into the Detroit zone. Turning it away now, Reed Larson. Ahead to McCourt. He's got Ogrodnick coming down the left side, but Harris came back, took it away from McCourt. Billy Harris bouncing it in behind the Detroit goal. Rutherford stops it there for Reed Larson. He played it on the right side. Ogrodnick, or rather left side. Ogrodnick couldn't get loose, but here's Jim Korn. He has Foligno with him. Ogrodnick on the left. Korn over the line. Here's Jim Korn trying to cut out in front. He did. Took the shot. They scored!
Beautiful.
What a play by a former Olympian.
Beautiful play. He just skirted the outside of the defense and cut around. And I don't know how he got back out in front of the net. He just picks a puck inside his own blue line, comes from the left-hand side over to the right. Now he's on his backhand. Now watch him go around the outside of the defense, and then with his lean, cut right back and around the outside of the lane, put the puck into Brodeur, and I would think just the fact that he went busting in there himself, the puck wound up in the net.
So we shall be back with more after we pause now for this. Jim Korn had the unassisted goal, his third of the year, at 19 minutes and 23 seconds. 3-1, Detroit leads, seconds running out here in the first period. Now that's Leiws handing it back to Lorimer, fired a long shot, Rutherford grabs that. Played it into the corner now for Reed Larson. Larson didn't get it out, but Nedemansky takes it. 5 seconds in the period. It's dumped back into the New York zone, and the time will run out as LeBratton goes in along the boards with Lorimer. They have the sticks up high. Denis gets in to see that no more comes of it. Over where the Islanders head down the corridor and into the New York dressing room. So here is a first period scoring summary brought to you by Magnavox and Fredder Appliance Stores. In the first period, Danny LeBratton, a power play goal, his 27th goal of the year from Nedemansky and Huber at 8 minutes and 21 seconds. That's while Morrow was serving the only penalty called against the Islanders. Bolduc went off 9:56. The Wings fought off the New York power play. Then John Ogrodnick with a pass from Dale McCourt, and Korn also assisting at 13:34. Made it 2-0. Duane Sutter got it back from a jam up out in front of the Detroit goal, and Sutter finally banged it in for his 9th of the season from Howatt and Denis Potvin, 16:08. But Very Long served a tripping penalty, 16:27. The Wings fought that off. And then it was Jim Korn, a rink-wide dash at 19:23, ended up in the Red Wings' third goal, an unassisted goal for Korn, and the Wings skate off leading 3-1. So in the period, I know the Islanders had 13 shots, and if I heard it correctly, Detroit 10. The alumni game and those who performed in it at Olympia, the last hurrah, will be seen in our first intermission coming up in just a moment. The end of the first period with a score, Detroit 3, New York 1.
It was another memorable evening at Olympia. They called it Olympia's Last Hurrah, the last game ever in the old red barn. Nostalgia abounded as the fans saw many of those familiar faces who made hockey history in the uniform of the Detroit Red Wings. You could have called it a homecoming, for many of the greats came back for the last hurrah, and they had memories. Marcel Pronovost, who played 983 games as a Red Wing through 15 seasons and entered the NHL Hall of Fame in 1978.
I think they were the best years of my career, even though I went to Toronto after I left Detroit. But this is where I was brought up. I was more or less raised by the Red Wings by playing in Windsor, and we played in this building even before I was in the National League. In the old International League, I played for Otter Club, and so it brings back all the memories, really.
Left winger Marty Pavlich. For 10 seasons, his assignment was to check the top scorer of the opposition. His memories?
Just so many great memories, because I think of the companionship with so many of the great hockey players. Irvin, you know, you're talking about the Lindsays, the Howells, the Kellys, the Stewarts, the Abels, and Marcel Pronovost, Lumley. You know, just seeing these guys in the great championship teams that we had in those days, it's just great to come back amongst these guys.
Goalie Roger Crozier was the Calder Cup Rookie of the Year in 1964-65 and won the Conn Smythe Trophy in 1965-66.
Well, naturally, coming back here today brings back a lot of great memories, because I would have to think that I had some of my greatest thrills right here in this city and in this building, and played with some of the best hockey players that ever played in the National Hockey League. So there's a number of thrills, but I would have to think the first year I was here when we ended up in first place overall, and I was fortunate enough to be the Rookie of the Year, and then the next year we went right to the finals, and I won the Conn Smythe Trophy, which was pretty honorable at that time as far as I'm concerned.
Right winger Mickey Redmond, one of the greatest shooters in the game, and the only Red Wing in history to score more than 50 goals in 2 consecutive seasons.
It's really hard to put them into one story or anything, but just a tremendous amount of camaraderie that we had while I was here. Unfortunately, we didn't make playoffs here, and probably that's the biggest disappointment that I had, but I certainly made a lot of good friends, and I'll never forget it.
Centerman Alex Delvecchio played 24 seasons as a Red Wing and was inducted into the NHL Hall of Fame in 1977.
Well, I'd have to say my first year in the NHL when we won the Stanley Cup in 4 games, and the response we got from the people, and being my first championship team ever in my hockey career, I'd have to say that was my greatest moment.
Jimmy Peters, a former Montreal and Detroit star, and a founder of the Red Wing alumni.
Boy, just Jack Adams with the great hockey teams, Gordy Howe and the Lindsays and the Abels, and a lot of the people that are here tonight going to play. The discipline, the good fellowship, the good hockey, Stanley Cups, nothing like winning, Marvin, really. And it's just too bad the Red Wings could win more and make everybody a little happier, but somebody has to lose.
Many great moments to cherish. And for this special evening, the alumni had their own feelings about the game to be played.
Personally, I'm very excited about sitting in the same room as guys like Blackjack Stewart, Frank Mahavlich, Howe, Delvecchio, I mean Lindsay, Abel. It's a tremendous thing for me at my age to be able to associate with these type of guys. Some of these guys I watched play hockey when I was a young guy back in Peterborough, and it's a great thrill just to be here and to look around and see all those great names and faces.
Well, I just feel honored to be here and to be with a bunch of guys like this, and I hope maybe some of this rubs off with the present Red Wings, and they can see some guys that were winners most of their lives, and maybe this is a good omen. Maybe we can, if they win tonight, that'll give them 2 points. Maybe we'll get them started.
I got butterflies right now, just like I'd have during a regular season, but I think it's going to be a fun game, and we want the fans to enjoy themselves tonight, and I think it'll just be a good contest all the way around.
Well, yeah, I got mixed feelings. I know I shouldn't be here as far as playing goes, because I haven't practiced or played in a long time, but we'll have a great time out there. We'll give it our best shot, and hope everybody enjoys it. Thank you.
And what was it all for?
Well, I think as you know, Marv, we're very active for charity organizations, all different organizations, and when we play during a winning, and this particular game is not only for charity, many Charlies, but just opening this building and closing this building and have these 20 all-time great hockey players coming down to participate, I just think it's out of this world, really.
It was truly a time for fans to remember, to reminisce, to say thanks for the memories. For the players, it was a time to meet with their old teammates, renew friendships, and reflect on their many days spent in the Red Wing uniform. The alumni scored only 2 goals. The first by NHL Hall of Famer Alex Delvecchio, and the other one, quite fittingly, the last goal ever to be scored in Olympia, by the legendary number 9. What a homecoming it was.
And we say hi again. Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel from our telecast location here at the Nassau Coliseum, New York, where the Red Wings have gone out, I guess I'd have to say, to a surprising 3-1 lead over the New York Islanders. And Sid, I think perhaps the difference in that first period, the Wings were outshot 13-11, might be a little fella named Jim Rutherford.
Well, he played real well. He made a lot of shots, or made a lot of saves on shots that he was screened. He followed up the rebounds. He robbed Bossy. He robbed Trottier, and just played an outstanding first period. The big thing, I thought, Bruce, early in the period, the Wing defensemen stayed up and blocked a lot of plays coming into the zone. Then when the penalties started happening, the Islanders got in deep, and with Potvin back in their lineup, they are a dangerous hockey club. We still have 40 minutes to play, and I think we're going to see a great 40 minutes of hockey.
I think a great comparison, Sid, is a look at 2 big defensemen out here, one on each team, both youngsters. Jim Korn of the Detroit Red Wings, who was an Olympic hockey hopeful, and then he decided to turn pro with the team that had drafted him, the Red Wings. And, of course, Ken Morrow playing his first National Hockey League game, a Davison, Michigan boy who I thought played quite well despite the penalty he picked up there in the first period.
Well, he handled himself well. He passed the puck well. He advanced it to the players ahead of him. He had one real good shot on the net through a screen shot that Jimmy Rutherford had to handle. And no doubt he was nervous, Bruce, starting his first National League game. But getting back to Jimmy Korn has a habit of carrying a stick in one hand an awful lot. And I would think this is where a defensive coach like Marcel Pronovost will work on things like that. But he scored a beautiful goal. Anytime you can pick a puck up inside your own blue line, go the length of the ice, cut around an experienced defenseman like Lane, and go in and put it in the net, you're doing quite a job.
Well, you talk of Marcel Pronovost. It was announced yesterday that he indeed will be an assistant coach and will be handling the defense for the Detroit Red Wings, and he'll be joining his former coach and fellow player, Sid Abel, between our second and third periods. Sid, while we talk of Olympic hockey players, I am anxious to hear the game out of Atlanta tonight, when the Flames will open up with a new goaltender named Jim Craig, and he is just one of a lot of players who will be signing off of that U.S. Olympic team.
Well, I hope he has a real good outing, Bruce. I understand that there were 4,000 people at the press conference yesterday. That's as many as they draw for a game occasionally, so he's going to mean an awful lot to attendance in Atlanta, and I just wish him the very, very best, because he had an outstanding series for the U.S. national team.
Well, here at the island, the Detroit Red Wings lead the New York Islanders after one period of play with a score of 3-1, and we'll be back with the second period face-off in just a moment. In the first period of this game, the Detroit Red Wings had 11 shots, and the New York Islanders returned 13 to Detroit goaltender Jimmy Rutherford. As you watch the Wings move down the corridor out onto the ice in preparation for the second period. This, the 62nd game of an 80-game season for the Detroit Red Wings, who, as we have mentioned time and time again, are right in the thick of the battle to retain their position, if not improve it, and thus earn a playoff spot. The Wings are currently in 15th place now, with the first 16 teams holding a playoff position when the regular season is over after 80 games, but they are precariously close to the teams below them, with 53 points after 61 games. Quebec has played 62 games, has one less point. Edmonton actually Detroit have 3 games in hand to Edmonton and lead them by just a point. And then they are in turn 4 points ahead of Vancouver, 5 in front of Washington, and I would say perhaps comfortably ahead of Colorado and Winnipeg.
Bruce, just a few wins. They have changed their goaltenders, New York Islanders. Chico Resch is going in. I guess Al Arbour, the coach, didn't feel that Brodeur did the job in the first period. He kind of fanned on LeBratton's goal. LeBratton was in good position to put the puck in the net, but LeBratton kind of overshot the puck and didn't get the wood on it, but it fooled Brodeur. Ogrodnick's goal was shot from the top of the circle and it went on the short side through his feet and stick. The only good goal, and it could have been the momentum of Jim Korn, the Wings' third goal, he went around the outside of lane, cut in, and right in a play right from the goal crease, it appeared as though possibly Korn's momentum himself carried the puck into the net because he run right into Brodeur. But three goals that Al Arbour, no doubt, wasn't happy with his goaltending.
Billy Smith, who is normally shares the duties of Chico Resch, his father-in-law died, and he is up in Canada because of that. Now the puck is driven in behind the Detroit goal. There'll be an icing call as the Wings get there. No, it was waved off. Puck came right out in front. Errol Thompson takes it. They were indicating icing, but did not call it. Dave Lewis back at his own blue line. Cleared it to the Detroit line. Willie Huber hands it ahead. This is George Lyle, Peter Mahavlich. Mahavlich tried to hand it back to Thompson. He was checked right there. Now Mike Bossy just dumped it back down the ice. Errol Thompson heads after it. Circling back in his own zone. The Wings leading at 3-1. We're in the first minute of the second period. Willie Huber. Off now to Jim Korn and back to Huber. Center ice pass. This is Errol Thompson. Now Lyle. Lyle over the line. Took a weak shot that was knocked down by Jean Potvin. And Bossy goes in behind his own goal. Drops it there for Jean Potvin. Lyle moved in with him. Puck goes loose in the corner. Here's Peter Mahavlich back on the line to Willie Huber. Huber flipped the shot out in front. That was knocked down, picked up by Mahavlich. Back to Huber, and that shot deflected up over the glass and into the crowd.
I was going to say the Wings should shoot at Chico Resch because his last start, he was defeated by the New York Rangers over in Madison Square Garden, 8-2.
Right.
And it's a case if the Wings ever got a quick goal on him, it might get him feeling as though things are not going well. There's Bobby Crom behind the Red Wing bench talking to the players.
Wings continue to play without the service of Greg Jolly, who that wrist is bothering him a great deal. Jean Hamel, who's had some breathing problems, whether or not it's asthma, but it's something very similar to it. Now here's a long pass just too far out in front of Anders Keller. Very long, and Keller go digging after it, and they waved off the icing. And Paul Flaherty made one move and then another. The play stays in, cleared back along the left side. Bumped back into the corner. Bob Bourne battling Reed Larson there for it. Still they hold it in. Keller gave it back to Bourne. Bob Bourne dumping it into the corner. That puck is still bouncing around in the Detroit zone. Reed Larson didn't get it out. That's Bourne turning right out in front. And he took the shot. Very long stopped it. And it ends up in the corner again with Merrick in after it. Merrick played it back toward the line. Held in by Lorimer. The Wings having trouble moving it out of their own zone. And now that's Merrick. Merrick checked by Long. Long went down on top of the puck, and the play will stay to the left of the Detroit goal as they do a little bouncing out in front of the Detroit net. A gathering of players there. But it'll all be broken up, and with the Wings leading at 3-1, we'll be back with more in a moment. You are watching Red Wing Hockey on TV 50. Wings make a change now. They have Paul Woods with LeBratton and Nedemansky. There's Nystrom with a shot. Grazed the goalpost. Off to the right of Rutherford. Now Tommy Bergman. Danny LeBratton finally bounced it out center ice. Morrow comes back after it. Ahead now to Billy Harris. Shooting it right back into the Detroit zone. Jimmy Rutherford didn't get it out. That's Garry Howatt holding it in. He was checked by Nedemansky and Huber. Nedemansky swinging in behind Rutherford. Now Ned's pass ahead to Paul Woods. Dropped it back for Huber. Huber was checked, covering up Tommy Bergman. Bergman back to Nedemansky. Ned just dumped it along the boards. It goes in behind the New York goal. Coming out with it now, right at the New York blue line. Harris and Paul Woods had each other all tied up as Lewis fired the shot. Puck was put right out in front of the goal. That shot knocked away. Covering up Tommy Bergman.
And I think Wally Harris could have called a penalty. They just held Paul Woods. He couldn't get in the play at all coming out of the New York zone.
And Woods just skated over and said a little something to him about it. Tonight at 9, the Michigan Wolverines take their best shot at the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Live coverage on TV 50.
Wings haven't started this period the way they started the last. They have let New York move deep into their zone. And the Wings are in trouble when teams are allowed to move their defensemen inside the Red Wing blue line.
Saw the attendance figure just under the 15,000 mark, 14,995. The Wings still are not working the puck out of their own zone. Bourne hands it back to the blue line. Lewis dumped it. Going into the corner after it, being bumped in along the boards, Tambellini. Still the Wings having trouble, and this time Tommy Bertman dumped his man. That was Sutter. The Wings come back. Nedemansky over the line, took the shot, and Lewis deflected that high up into the crowd. Oh, we'll have a face-off inside the New York end. The Wings have not bothered the Islanders here in the second period, I'll tell you. Dennis Polonich comes out with Glenn Hicks and Danny Bolduc now with Reed Larson and Jim Korn. Detroit 3, New York 1. We have played 3 minutes, 14 seconds of period number 2. Garry Howatt comes out. Sid, how many confrontations have we seen between Howatt
and Polonich?
And
they played together in junior hockey up in
Room together.
Yeah, in Flin Flon, Manitoba.
Now that's Tambellini dropping it back for Lewis, coming out with it, John Potvin. Potvin shooting it deep into the Detroit zone. Bolduc, he lost it there. That puck fired right to the net. Rutherford knocked it away, centered again, and Rutherford kicked it out once more. Lewis held it in. Lewis put it out in front. Tambellini hit the goal post. And the Wings having trouble clearing out of their own zone. There's Bolduc with a shot, and John Potvin easily got in front of that to put it up into the crowd.
And the Wings have been in deep trouble. That puck shot by Tambellini hit the post dead on. Just a case of Bolduc trying to get away from his check. Missed, was checked and come back out. Now watch where it comes out. Tried to tuck it in the short side. It goes over along the corner. Jimmy Rutherford doesn't know the puck's out in play. But when it comes back out, it comes right out in the slot here. And this shot hits the post dead on. So Jimmy got a real break there. The goaltender's best friend, those goalposts. They can hit them all day long. It sounds like Sunday some nights when ringing off those goalposts, but as long as they don't go in, they don't count.
Is the Islanders checking a little more ferocious here? What's doing it? Bossy stopped at center ice by Reed Larson. Danny Bolduc got it to the line, but that's all. This is Tonelli turning with it. Playing it back to Lorimer, back in the New York end. Cleared out. Danny Bolduc knocked it away, almost lost it to Bossy, picks it up again. He got it to the line, and again the Wings just couldn't work in, so here's Trottier coming back. He was dumped in along the boards by Jim Korn. That's Glenn Hicks, Tonelli chasing him. Tonelli had him tied up, so Bossy takes it. Polonich knocked it away from Tonelli. Reed Larson. Larson ahead to Bolduc, he's got Hicks coming up. The pass to Hicks over the line, he's checked right there, a chance for Polonich. He drove the shot and it went wide. Korn couldn't get to it. Trottier clears it out center ice to Tonelli. Bossy went in offside, and there's going to be a penalty coming up on the offside play. They're going to whistle Jim Korn into the penalty box. So we have a pause in the action, and we'll be back with the New York power play in a moment.
This is a bad call, Bruce, because the whistle had gone. This player is offside, and the whistle goes. And the whistle sounded before Jim Korn got a stick involved in his legs, and I'm surprised that Wally Harris would call a penalty after an offside whistle.
Well, it wasn't much of a penalty to begin with. He skated over the stick, more or less. But at any rate, the Wings did question it all the way, but lost all arguments, so Korn is off for tripping at 4:35. Now the play goes into the Detroit zone. That's Wayne Merrick with it. Back on the line to Jean Potvin, Denis Potvin. He gave it now to Bourne. Bourne took the shot. Rutherford, I believe, got a piece of it. It ended up in the corner. Going in after it, Kallur, number 28, very long. Couldn't hold him there. This is Bob Bourne with it. Back on the line again to Potvin, now to Bourne. Bob Bourne holding it off the rim of the circle. Back to Denis Potvin. Denis Potvin being watched by Woods. Cleared it to the right side. Here's Jean Potvin with a shot. And that deflected off the boards. Harold Thompson with it, and Thompson didn't get it out. But Paul Woods does, and Woods slips it along the boards and down the ice. 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Jim Korn. The Wings have had the last 3 penalties called in the game. Here now is Kallur. Playing it back now to Merrick. Wayne Merrick turning with it, drops it back for Potvin. He took the shot. That deflected off Willie Huber. Going in again is Bourne. Bob Bourne. He's digging all the time. Turning off the circle. Back on the right point to Jean Potvin. His pass tipped away by Paul Woods came to Merrick. In the corner, Kallur. Anders Kallur, Barry Long swept it away from him. John Potvin held it in. Barry Long takes Merrick in along the boards. Merrick, though, goes to the corner, came up with it. A player knocked down out in front, and Paul Wood shoots it down the ice. Kallur trying to gain possession, sent to the ice by Huber. 30 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here now over the line, Trottier with Tonelli cutting out in front. Puck went in behind. Tonelli has it there. John Tonelli bringing it back toward the point. Denis Potvin's shot blocked by Peter Mahavlich, and Dale McCourt cleared it the length of the ice. And now 10 seconds remains in the Detroit penalty. Wings lead it 3-1. We've played 6.5 minutes of the second period. Bossy's pass tipped away on the part of Dale McCourt. Reed Larson handed it right to Denis Potvin. The penalty's over. Korn is back on. Now Denis Potvin sending brother Jean back in the New York zone. Korn, who came out of the penalty box, checking well up the ice. Here's a pass knocked away right at the line. Peter Mahavlich got it loose. Jean Potvin takes it. Now Jean Potvin dumped it back into the Detroit zone. Going into the corner, a centering pass, and Bossy was right there and didn't get to it. Now Peter Mahavlich heads back. Mahavlich, Foligno, and McCourt ahead of him. Mahavlich over the line, trying to go through. McCourt got to it. Now it's Foligno. Foligno's pass. He picked it up himself off the boards. Sent it into the corner. Mike Foligno goes digging in after it. He and Trottier. Foligno tried to center it, hit the back of the goal. They go into the corner. Dale McCourt gets into it along with Potvin. That puck is driven to the line. It's played there. Here's Dale McCourt trying to set up Ogrodnick, and it came out center ice. Back after it, Reed Larson. Now Larson ahead to Ogrodnick. Ogrodnick wheeled it off to the side of the New York goal. Potvin goes after it. And Potvin's going to shoot it the length of the ice. There'll be an icing call against the Islanders, and we'll be back with more after we pause now for this. Look at the Nassau Coliseum up in a corner. It's so dark, there's no way we could get a camera on him. Well, let's watch Trottier in the corner.
Well, here's Trottier making a play right out, and Bossy's here all by himself, and Jimmy Rutherford tried to deflect that puck, but missed it, and then Bossy missed it, and it was probably the action of Rutherford's goal stick that caused Bossy to miss it.
Started to say in the dark corner here, seated next to General Manager Ted Lindsay, is Marcel Pronovost, who will be joining the Wings as an assistant coach for long. And the new assistant coach will be joining Sid between periods, the second and third of this game. Now that's Ken Morrow taking it into the corner in the Detroit zone. Nystrom went in along with Larson, and finally Rutherford just knocked it away. Tommy Bergman tied up. Howatt's doing the checking there. And they whistle it down, face off to the left of the Detroit goal. We have played 7 minutes, make it 8 minutes and 16 seconds of the second period, 3-1 Detroit. Pesky, great American brand products have the quality difference you can taste. And this week at all Kroger stores, Pesky boneless hams are being specially featured at $1.79 per pound, and Pesky extra lean bacon specially priced at $1.38 per pound. That's at all Kroger stores. Face off, still deep in the Detroit zone. Rutherford cleared it out on the right side. Lane held it in. Along the boards, John Ogrodnick bumped away from the puck by Nystrom. Nystrom gets into it a second time. Korn and Harris have it tied to the boards. Nystrom got it loose. Wings still don't get it out. Turning with it into the corner now, Nystrom. Here's Nystrom, a centering pass. It went through everybody. Goes all the way back into the New York end. But the Islanders have had the pressure on here in the second period. Turning with it again is Lane. Now Lane of New York coming out center ice. His right side pass to Nystrom. Nystrom turning away from Korn's check. Handed it back. Fanning on it was Morrow. And here's Willie Huber. Ahead it comes, too far for Dale McCourt. Puck was knocked away, knocked down by Foligno. He took it over the line, sets up McCourt. McCourt tried to hand it back. There's Ogrodnick. And that puck bounced away as Foligno was spilled to the ice. Garry Howatt in behind his own goal. Willie Huber couldn't hold it in, and Ogrodnick comes back out center ice to retrieve it. Now John Ogrodnick drops it back for Korn. Jim Korn turned around by Howatt. Howatt still chasing him, still deep in the Detroit zone. Now Korn heads out again. Jim Korn trying to work away from Nystrom. Nystrom took him to the boards. Taken in by Morrow over on the opposite side. Lane being chased there by Danny Bolduc. It comes back to Willie Huber. Huber's pass, Korn dumped it ahead. Ogrodnick couldn't get to it. Morrow brings it back into the Detroit zone, and Korn stopped him. Here's Ogrodnick ahead, and McCourt failed to get to it. It's driven back to the Detroit line. Willie Huber holds it there. Now Huber's pass bounced into the New York end. We are at the midpoint of the second period. Gordy Lane of the Islanders ahead to Duane Sutter. It got beyond him, heading back into his own zone, Denis Polonich. In behind Rutherford, Polonich pulls up. Now Denis's pass broken up. There's Lorimer with a shot. That deflected away to the corner. Sutter goes in after it. Checked there by Larson. Now Polonich gets into it. Sutter dragged it away. A pass right out in front and a save by Rutherford. Another shot knocked away before it got through. Here's a chance for Lorimer, and that's broken up by Polonich. Denis Polonich comes back. A left side pass to Glenn Hicks. Back to Polonich into the New York zone. Polonich given a bump. Hicks goes after it. Tried to put it out in front, but breaking that up, Dave Lewis. And now 3 of the Islanders back. That left side pass, Tonelli hands it back to Lewis, and he shot wide. He cut right in and fired it wide. The Islanders with the pressure on. Sutter cleared it into the corner. Larson goes in after it. Tonelli had a pretty good grip on him. Here's Sutter again. Sutter tied up by Barry Long. The puck loose. Pulling away is Merrick. Wayne Merrick drops it back now to Sutter. Long knocked it away from him, but Barry Long failed to keep it away from Sutter. A centering pass, Polonich knocked it down. But it's the Islanders applying all the pressure. They take it into the corner and hold it for a face-off. No, there's still no whistle. And finally the Wings get it loose and roll it out center ice. Back at his own blue line, Bob Lorimer. 8 minutes, 40 seconds to play, second period. Wayne Merrick ahead to Kallur. He was stopped by Long. Now that's Hicks, Paul Woods. Woods over the line, tried to get it back. He was slowed up by Lorimer. Bob Bourne, 3-on-2, the Islanders. Over the line, Merrick dropping it back. Kallur gives it to Merrick. He rolled it to the Detroit goal, and Rutherford kicked it away. And now Long cleared it back. Hicks leaves it there for Paul Woods. He took the long shot. It ends up in the crowd off of the goaltender, Chico Resch. We have a pause in the action. It is 3-1 Detroit. We'll be back in a moment. Boston Bruins at home in the third period are leading the Los Angeles Kings 3-0.
Well, Detroit have survived quite a New York Islander rush here in the second period. It's been all played down in Detroit zone.
Now, that's John Potvin clearing it to defenseman Lane. Gordy Lane shooting at the length of the ice. Tommy Bergman will go back to touch that. This will be an icing call, and the play will come back into the New York zone. Let the good times roll. Van Heflin, Gene Kelly, and Gig Young are the Three Musketeers. Bill Kennedy at the movies tomorrow at 1 on TV 50. Line of Paul Woods with Netamansky and Danny LeBratton. Willie Huber and Tommy Bergman back along the defense. Alec Kallur is on the right wing. Merrick at center. And Bob Bourne the left side. Play deep in the New York end. The Wings haven't really tested Resch that much. There's Huber with a shot. That went wide. Kallur swings in behind Resch. Out on the left side to Lane. Again, he just cleared it out center ice. Tommy Bergman comes back after it. Hands it now to Huber and back to Bergman. Tommy Bergman back to Willie Huber in the Detroit zone. Center ice now to Netamansky. His pass picked off by Merrick. Merrick clears it to Kallur. Alex Kallur with a rolling puck. Paul Woods got a stick on it, and Willie Huber starts out. Here's Huber. Huber's pass. Netamansky takes it over the line. Fired the shot, and Resch stopped that. Now it's LeBratton grabbed in behind the goal by Jean Potvin, and Potvin comes up with the puck. Ahead to Merrick. Out on the right side to Kallur now. Here's Kallur's pass. That went behind Bourne. It'll be taken by Huber. 7:15 to play. A long pass too far out in front of LeBratton. There'll be an icing call against the Wings.
You know, it's surprising, Bruce. Every time the Wings have come out with their defensemen that stand up, they get out of trouble. But when they collapse in behind the blue line, they get in deep trouble.
We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Little Caesars Pizza.
Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel, our producer Marvin Muse. I'm here at our telecast location in the Nassau Coliseum. The Detroit Red Wings 3, the New York Islanders 1. And we have 7 minutes, 8 seconds to play here in the second period, but the Islanders have been the dominant team. There's a shot by Bossy. Knocked away. The dominant team here in period number 2. Now a long pass. Dale McCourt. It skipped away from George Lyle, so Tonelli starts right back in. Bossy giving chase there with Dale McCourt. The two of them go into the corner. That's Trottier, and Errol Thompson takes him in. They hold it there, face off to the left of the Detroit goal. In the first period, the Islanders outshot Detroit 13-11, but the Wings scored 3 times. We had a kitty question up here on the big board, Sid. It said, who in the National Hockey League has 800 career goals?
And it happened right last night in Hartford. Hartford won their game 3-0, and Gordie Howe scored his 800th goal. That's quite a few, you know.
That's, he's played a little.
Yes, he's played quite a number of years, but 800 goals is a lot of goals.
And that does not include World Hockey Association. That's all National Hockey League. Now the Wings have the play in their own zone. Reed Larson's pass didn't come out. That's Bossy going after it. Larson covered up. Larson goes into the corner, chased by Tonelli. It'll be intercepted again. And Lorimer's pass tipped away by Errol Thompson. Trottier in behind the goal to Tonelli. Larson went in, fell down. Tonelli trying to center it, picked it up again, off to Bossy, and Rutherford stopped him from point-blank range. And the Wings still do not get it out. Larson was stopped again. Here's Tonelli with it. That was Korn that was stopped. Tonelli took it off to the circle. Korn knocked it away from him, and George Lyle brings it out. Now Lyle sweeps it off to Errol Thompson. He tried to set up Mahavlich. Thompson might have been in. Here's Tonelli leading a three-man rush for New York. Back over the line, drops it off on the left side, and Mahavlich came in, knocked it away from Trottier, and the Wings clear it back into the New York end, not far enough for an icing. Lyle ran into his man Lorimer. Denis, Potvin, and Foligno will hold it, and a face-off stays, this time in the Islander end. Well, I know that they're watching this game out on a little spot in 12 Mile and Orchard Lake, which is soon to become City-Able's Coach's Corner, understand?
Yes, we have a big crowd there this afternoon. We hopefully will put our sign up next week, Bruce, so you'll be able to find it.
That'll keep me away.
Very good. I might have to buy a drink if the Wings win, you know.
Well, I hope you do. Now it goes in behind the Islanders' goal again, going in after it. This is Gordy Lane clearing it out now to Billy Harris over on the left side. That's Garry Howatt, number 8. Ogrodnick and Nystrom battle for it. They had each other covered up. It came loose. That's Harris turning. In behind Rutherford. The puck driven to the side again. Ogrodnick pulled away from Nystrom's check. Now John Ogrodnick sends Tommy Bergman out. Tommy Bergman a long right side pass. Mike Foligno handles it. Took a long shot. Fired it into the corner. Kenny Morrow goes in after it. They still fight for it. It came back out. Harris, failed to work away from Foligno. Ogrodnick back out center ice. Back on the Detroit line, Barry Long. Now Long, left side to Ogrodnick. Ogrodnick played it right to the New York blue line. Ken Morrow has it there. Coming back with it now, Lane. That's Howatt. Garry Howatt took the shot. Rutherford knocked it away. They still jam into the corner with Howatt coming out with it in behind the goal. Harris tried to center it. Ogrodnick takes it. Now John Ogrodnick coming out with a pass to Dale McCourt and back to Ogrodnick. He fired one. Went over the top of the goal. McCourt trying to hold it in. Lane took it away. And now here moving out with it again is Garry Howatt of New York. We have 4.5 minutes to play in the second period. 3-1 Detroit. Howatt got away from Long. He scored!
A great goal by Howatt, but a little defensive lapse by the Wings. Not the defensemen, it was the forwards that time that didn't pick up their checks. Howatt comes the length of the ice, and Dale McCourt's trying to pick him up. Made one little move at him. He went around the outside of Barry Long, and from a bad angle up high, caught the short side. And that puts New York right back in this contest. And it's a period that New York has dominated. The Wings come out and played a terrific first period, but this period here has been all New York Islanders.
Howatt gets his 6th on the year. Lane draws the only assist, and now it is 3-2. The Red Wings lead by 1. And the Islanders have just carried the play to Detroit throughout almost all of this second period. 3-2, the Wings lead it by 1. Willie Huber's pass tipped right back to the line, and the Islanders will bring it back in. Trottier over on the right side. Duane Sutter put it right out in front. Trottier was tied up there by Huber. And Nedemansky just lifted it out center ice. It's cleared ahead to Trottier. Comes back now to Jean Potvin. Potvin's pass came into the Detroit end, but way out in front of it was Tambellini, so they'll come back out center ice.
And it's surprising how a club, when they stop skating and hustling, they can get in trouble. The Islanders have just come out and carried the play to the Wings. The Wings have been more or less content to sit back.
Now this is Jean Potvin at center ice. He played it to Lewis, tipped into the Detroit zone. Jim Korn heads in after it. Korn fired it along the boards. Danny LeBratton ahead now to Paul Woods. Woods played it too far. Nedemansky goes after it. He's got Lewis in front of him. Ned worked away from in, handed it back to Woods, and his shot deflected off Tambellini, went high up into the crowd, and now we have a fight going on in front. as I believe it was Sutter went after one of the Red Wing players, Danny LeBreton.
After Danny LeBreton, now Trottier and LeBreton have a hold of one another, but Jim Korn has come in to get his one hand into this. I don't know what provoked all this. It was an innocent play where Nedemansky made a fine little pass back to Paul Woods, and Paul Woods' shot was deflected up into the crowd.
25 is Lewis, 19 is Trottier. They have sticks and gloves all around the ice, but things have been broken up, so we'll be back to resume the play in just a moment. So we have no penalties from the fracas that occurred just moments after Garry Howatt had scored for New York to make it 3-2, the Red Wings by 1. The Islanders send out a new line. They have Merrick, who will go to center ice. Bob Bourne over on the left side, and Kallur on the right wing. Anders Kallur. The Wings stay with Paul Woods, LeBreton, and Nedemansky. This line, I think, has been perhaps the most potent the Wings have had, and Woods right from the face-off fired that shot. Resch had to kick it away. Wayne Merrick goes in behind his own goal. His pass comes up now to Bourne, dropped back to Lorimer. Here now, Bob Lorimer dumping it deep into the Detroit zone. Nedemansky was shoved off the puck, and so the Islanders play it. Willie Huber sent his man down and starts out. His pass to LeBreton, center ice now to Paul Woods. Nedemansky over the line. Nedemansky faked the shot, then he took it, and it bounced off to the side of the goal. Now Woods tried to get it back to the line. That was knocked away, and Bourne heads out. With it is Kallur. Kallur's pass to Merrick. He hands it back to Bob Bourne. Willie Huber knocked it away the first time. Then Nedemansky made the check, and Jim Korn has it. Korn pulling away from Merrick heads out. 2:45 to play in the second period. Korn just lifts it into the Islander zone as the Wings change on the move now on New York's Lorimer. A long right side pass to Kallur. It came back to Merrick. Here now is Merrick. He played it over to Bob Bourne, who scoops it in behind the Detroit goal. Rutherford will leave it there for Tommy Bergman. Now Lyle. George Lyle's pass up to Peter Mahavlich. Took the long shot. Resch made a bad move on it and had to recover.
We were talking about shooting at Resch coming in cold after having 8 goals scored on him. He really fought this puck. Merrick and Bourne make one pass too many here. They got Willie Huber back. Willie makes a good move, though, to stop the puck from being passed out in front of the net. But it was a case where they didn't have to make another pass. They could have gone right in and had their shot. But Resch really fought Peter Mahavlich's shot from way out.
2:23 in the period. Now here's a chance for Reed Larson. He drilled that and it went wide. Tommy Bergman held it in. Fired it into the corner. Morrow goes in after it. Now Morrow. Played it out on the left side. This is Lane bringing it out to center ice. Trying to work away from Mahavlich. It's scooped into the Detroit zone. In behind the goal. Trottier will dig it out. Put it out in front. Bossy shot. Went off Mahavlich. And the Wings just shoot it out center ice. It's cleared back in. And they called it onside. Though the New York player was indeed just coming back. That's Tommy Bergman. Bergman is passed to Mahavlich on the left wing to Lyle. Here's George Lyle trying to work around Morrow. He did, but coming out of the goal, Resch cleared it off the boards. Coming back now, Trottier. 1:35 to play. Here's Bossy moving into the Detroit zone. Took the shot, and that deflected up into the crowd. And 1:31 to go, and boy, when you let Bossy come in like that, you're in trouble.
Well, he had a step on Toby Bergman coming back, but here's a case where Reed Larson's speed coming from the far side actually is the one that breaks up this play. Larson right there gets a stick out in front of it, puts it well up into the crowd.
So the game remains at 3-2 Detroit with 1:31 to go in period number 2. Wings return home immediately following the game, and they'll be meeting Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night at the Joe Louis Arena. And I'd like to again remind you that that game is 1 hour later than normal, 8 o'clock starting time tomorrow night. That's Nystrom holding it in, and then the Islanders themselves kicked it back out center ice. Lewis shoots it right back in. Hit the referee, Wally Harris. That hurt. Wally Harris, the linesman, stopped the play as Harris caught that puck. And he is in some pain.
That really hurts, or burns. That puck was really fired. Harris had his back to the play down in the corner. I don't know if it hit him in the arm or...
He was holding on to the arm. We have 1:21 to go in the second period. Our next telecast is going to be some distance away. Thursday, the 13th day of the month of March, when the Red Wings will be facing the Bruins at the Boston Gardens. Harris is all right. I think the Wings are going to argue that they should not hold the face-off in the Detroit end, but they're going to.
Well, you're going to lose an argument like that because the referee or the linesman are just part of the playing surface, really. When the puck hits them, and there's very seldom would be stopped for other than a face-off.
So it'll be Dale McCourt in against Harris, off to the right side of Jim Rutherford. 3-2, the Wings lead by 1. Now McCourt won the draw. Willie Huber lifted it off the glass. It bounces out center ice. This is Jean Potvin at his own blue line, handing it back to Lewis. Dave Lewis firing it back into the Detroit zone. Ogrodnick went in. Harris put it right out in front. Nystrom was there, didn't handle it. Coming back, Korn. Jim Korn on the move again. Back over the line, trying to go through. The puck came loose. Mike Foligno was sent to the ice heavily by Howatt. He just had the stick up high, and Foligno did a cartwheel going down. Now here's Willie Huber. Huber dumping it back out. Foligno has trouble right at the line. Went after it again, picks it up. Here's Foligno, 40 seconds in the period. Dropped it back for Ogrodnick. In behind the goal. It goes into the corner. Lewis goes in after it. Clears it ahead now to Harris. Over on the left side, Garry Howatt. Howatt tied up by Willie Huber. Going after it, Jim Korn. Korn dropped it back. Huber hasn't got a stick. Picking it up. Foligno threw it to him. That's quite a play. Foligno sent it out center ice, and McCourt failed to handle that. Ogrodnick goes after it. Takes it into the New York zone. Checked there by Lorimer. Now Denis Potvin with 15 seconds to go. Didn't get it out. Nedemansky couldn't hold it in. Has it a second time. Big Ned with it. 8 seconds to go in the period. His shot deflected to the corner. Dale McCourt fight it back for Larson with a shot. That deflected wide. And Resch dumped it into the corner as the buzzer goes to end the second period. We're going to take another look at the Mike Foligno play, Sid.
Well, here's a case where the play, Willie Huber doesn't have a stick. We'll just watch Mike Foligno use his head here. Puck comes up along the boards to Mike Foligno. He picks up the stick, makes a play, and he throws it back to Huber, so Huber could be in the play. A terrific play by Mike Foligno.
Well, here's a second period scoring summary brought to you by Magnavox and Fredder Appliance Stores. With the Red Wings leading the game 3-1 after the first period of play on goals by LaBratton, Ogrodnick, and Korn, and Sutter of New York Islanders. Garry Howatt scored the only goal of the second period. It came at 15:34, and Howatt from Lane was the only score there. The Red Wings, believe it or not, had only 3 shots on goal in the entire second period, while the Islanders returned 10 in the direction of Jimmy Rutherford. So after 2 periods, 14 Detroit and 23 for the Islanders. So we are going to be hearing from Marcel Pronovo, who will be joining Sid Abel. That's the end of the second period, and we'll be back to the Nassau Coliseum in just a moment.
Former Red Wing star defenseman, National League Hall of Famer, coach of the Buffalo Sabres for a couple of years, Marcel. It's nice to have you join us.
Real pleasure to be here, believe me, sir.
Marc, I know you have a big job. You're going to be an assistant to Bobby Crom and be a defensive coach. This is probably your first opportunity to see the Red Wings.
I saw him last Saturday in Montreal, but through television you don't really watch the same thing, and I'm glad to be here in person, and I think you have a lot of inexperience, and I think with a little on-ice discipline that all these young fellas, they're big enough and they're quick enough, so I think that we should be able to improve on it.
Marcel, let's just go back now. The last few years, I mean, you were in Buffalo in '77 with Punch Imlach, and then there was a change made there. But you haven't been out of hockey. You've been coaching junior hockey.
I was in junior hockey. I started out like in Tulsa around the 70 and went to Chicago Cougars, and then on to junior hockey, Hall Olympics, and then on to Buffalo, where last year we happened to be can, as we say, and I finished the season out with Hall Olympics because they were in trouble, and I started the year out with them this year. And now they're in the playoff position, and I decided I'd take Ted up on his offer.
Very good. You know, I didn't realize that playing the old-timer game at Detroit last week that we could make such a star out of you and have you come right back and be a coach in the National League.
This is all the help you get from the old fellas, Sid.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was great seeing you in Detroit, and we had a fun night.
It sure was a fun night. I enjoyed meeting everybody again, and I enjoyed the warmth of the crowd and all the old fans that we knew, and I hope we give them a good show.
Marcel, getting back to working with Bob Crom, do you know Bobby Crom?
Bobby coached in Dallas when I was coaching in Tulsa, and Shearer was coaching in Omaha, and he's in the Central League. So we formed quite an acquaintance then, and we've followed one another's career, I'd say, since that time.
You know, all teams have gone to another coach up on the bench or up in the radio or TV booth, or two coaches behind the bench. What defensively, when you're out on the ice, say in a practice session, will you just have all defensemen, or will you and Bobby coordinate things so that forwards and defensemen know exactly what's going on?
No, I would imagine we would program our workout as to the past mistakes and what he has seen, because he's been watching these people more so than I have, and we coordinate the workout to work both the offense and the defense, because the two are very, very close relationship. If your defenseman moves the puck well up to the forwards will have more opportunity to score, and vice versa. If your forwards come back well in your zone and help your defensemen, then we'll play better defensively. And it's a matter of being synchronized, and I think I'll let Bob carry the thing for a while, bring a little observation until I get to know the people better. And then I think the one important thing is that coaching is a very lonely job, and at times, if you have somebody that you can talk to, exchange ideas, you're on the same wavelength, you benefit by it. And again, two heads are better than one.
There's no doubt about that. I go back a few years, you know, when I was coaching and managing in Detroit, you were on one of my boards where yourself and Bill Gadsby, Alec Delfield, and Gordie Howe were a committee of four that would talk things over, and we'd sit down, and I know that helped me tremendously.
Right. Well, the one thing is that I might see things a little differently, and I might be oriented a little differently, and I think that with Bobby's experience and the fact that I've lived at the junior level, and we have a lot of young people in this hockey club, we can get maybe back to a little basic and then bring them along, a little refresher. And as I say, positioning, the one tough thing about playing defense is that you're always reacting, and reaction is always secondary to initial action. So you have to be in position possibly to cover 2 or 3 areas. And I always tell the defensemen, you've got 2 guys you can rely on right off the bat. Right. Your defense partner and your goaltenders.
That's no doubt about that. All right, Marcel, after you get to know the team and know things, will you be behind the bench with Bobby Crom?
From what Ted mentioned, he would like me behind the bench to possibly advise the defense on you see, it's a lot easier to point out a mistake as soon as it happens. Right. If we go in between periods, then the momentum has been lost, and the players, the game is so quick that the player has forgotten. But for that purpose, we also have video that we can look at and become constructive. The one thing that scares me on video at times is that we coaches have to be negative to find fault and find mistakes. And for every bad play that you might show, you'll have to show a good play to keep the positive side of it going.
Marcel, that is so true. I just wanted to mention one fact, too. The fact that you were a defenseman, and, you know, you talk about these kids, young Korn and Larson and Willie Huber and all those, and they are all big kids, carrying the play. After watching for 40 minutes, if you were to go down and talk right now, what would you say was the difference between the first period and the second period?
Well, basically, I think that the Red Wings quit skating. We had a couple of opportunities, and we didn't make the second effort going in on their net, and we threw the puck away in our own net.
Well, it's a case, too, I thought that the Islanders started to get a little more physical than they had in the first period.
Yeah, there was a little more hitting on the part of the Islanders, but, you know, it's all part of the game, and you have to be able to take the hit to make the play.
Marcel, I want to thank you for taking time out and coming up here. Welcome back to Detroit. Very, very best of luck, and get this team in the playoffs. That's the main thing. And I'm sure that you and Bobby Crom will be able to work well together.
Real pleasure, Sid.
And now let's go back to Bruce Martin.
Hey, Sid. And we thank Marcel for being our guest. Magnavox, manufacturers of the finest in electronics and cabinet styling, takes pride in presenting you with a certificate for a 12-inch black and white Magnavox television. After 2 periods of play here at the Nassau Coliseum, the score, the Detroit Red Wings 3, the New York Islanders 2, and we'll return to our telecast in just a moment. Sid Abel, when you go into a second period of play and you lead by 2 goals, 3-1, and you've got some pretty good goaltending for you, you don't usually come out and get only 3 shots on goal in a period, yet that's what the Red Wings did. You feel they just kind of laid back?
Well, I think Marcel Pronovo hit it right on the head when we were talking about that, Bruce. The Wings stopped skating. The defensemen then, instead of standing up at the blue line, started coasting back, and they were giving the Islanders all that ice inside their own blue line. The Islanders, with a pretty smart defensive core, moved everyone inside the Red Wing blue line, and they just kept jumping on loose pucks and making the Red Wings make mistakes. Wings were very fortunate. The Islanders only scored 1 goal in that period, and I would think now that Bobby Crom will be in the dressing room talking to the players, just going through the fact that to win hockey games, you have to skate, you have to come back with your checks, let the defense stand up and do their job. And I expect now that the Wings will come out and start carrying the play to the Islanders a little bit.
Well, again, as we mentioned, the Los Angeles Kings in the third period were trailing the Boston Bruins by a score of 3-0. Red Wings came into this hockey game. Los Angeles holds second place in the Norris Division, but they led Detroit by only 6 points, and with Detroit holding 3 games in hand. So how important these games are to the Red Wings, and for that matter, about another 15 clubs.
You know, Bruce, we were talking the other day saying if the Wings could put 3 or 4 wins together, they'd vault right back into, the top dozen. If they lose 3 or 4 more in a row, they will be down in a position where you have to win games to get in. It's that tough and it's that tight. They've got to jump on every game they can, and this would be a plus. If they could win or tie this hockey game here today, this would be a big plus coming on the road and getting a point in New York.
Well, if they do win this hockey game, they're going to have to change the style that they displayed in that second period against the New York Islanders. And we'll be checking up on that when we come back for the third period face-off in just a moment. In the second period, the Red Wings with only 3 shots on goal, while the New York Islanders returned 10 to Jimmy Rutherford, who knocked away all but that one, the drive by Garry Howatt. So after 2 periods of play, the Red Wings with 14 shots and the New York Islanders 23. Well, Jimmy Rutherford in the Detroit goal, who just hasn't been playing that much when he played the game Thursday night and came as a surprise to a lot of us, really, and he held off the Washington Capitals, with the Wings winning that one by a score of 4-1. Jimmy had played only twice since the 26th of December back in Christmas, and that included the game last night. He had only 1 start prior to that. That's a long time without playing much.
Well, you can say one thing, Bruce, he is fresh. And now I would think the game against Washington the other night would sharpen him up a little bit. He has played exceptionally well here tonight. The second goal was not particularly a good goal, but it was up high over his shoulder on the short side, and Jimmy's not being a big fella, probably crouched down and was beaten on a shot that ordinarily maybe a tall goaltender would have saved, but he has made a lot of real fine saves.
And if you joined us late, Richard Brodeur, who is a rookie goaltender, who is playing his second game for the Islanders, made the start in the game tonight. He beat Quebec at Quebec, the only other game he's played. That was last Wednesday. And the Red Wings scored 3 times on the 11 shots they fired at him in the first period. And then Chico Resch came on to start the second period, but the Wings really didn't test him. I think there was 1 drive from the blue line that had a little pepper on it, but that was about it. And he kicked away the only 3 shots that Detroit fired in his direction.
Bruce, he's not really a rookie. He played a couple years for Quebec in World Hockey, and I think he's 27 or 28 years of age, so he has been around. He was in the minors, and he was in the World Hockey for a couple years. So he's a rookie as far as the National League is concerned, but he's an old rookie, though.
Red Wings have had the last 3 penalties in the game. The Wings have killed off all 3 power plays of the Islanders. One of Detroit's goals, their first, was scored with the rookie Ken Morrow in the penalty box. Danny LeBratton scored that. So the teams are at full strength now as the third period is underway. The Wings with a 1-goal lead. That puck driven right to the side of the net. Rutherford knocked it away. Trottier back on the line. Lewis took the shot. Rutherford the save, and they score on the rebound as that shot by Trottier deflected into the goal off the Red Wing player.
Well, it was either deflected off Rutherford's stick or Willie Huber's. Rutherford made the initial save. An early goal is something that the Wings didn't want to happen, but it did. The shot from the blue line, Rutherford makes the big save. Trottier picks it up, and as he shoots it across through the open goal mouth, it hit either Rutherford's stick or Willie Huber trying to make a play on it and went into the open net.
Well, you couldn't tell from that. But it deflected in.
34th of the year, scored by number 19, Bryan. assist to number 22, Mike Bossy. And number 25, Dave Lewis. Time of the goal at 18.
Bossy and Lewis draw assists on the goal, scored at just 18 seconds. The Islanders picked up right where they left off at the end of the second period, carried the play into the Detroit zone, and it paid off. Now that's Bossy. He's checked by Lyle. The play goes in behind the Detroit goal. Willie Huber after it. Out on the left side to Lyle. He got it out center ice. Mahavlich went after it, tipped it back. Lyle couldn't get to it. Jim Korn has it. Now Jim Korn, center ice. It went off the stick of Errol Thompson. Wings changing on the move. Here's a long pass up to Merrick. Making the check was Ogrodnick. It came back to Reed Larson. Larson, still deep in the Detroit end, just played it out center ice. Merrick left it there. Dennis Potvin cleared it to Bourne. Larson knocked it away. It came back out center ice again. Back at his own blue line, Dennis Potvin. Play broken up by Barry Long. Potvin again. That's Lorimer. Bob Lorimer clearing it into the Detroit end. In behind his own goal, Jimmy Rutherford. Errol Thompson is still out there. Mike Foligno hasn't been able to get on to complete the line. Thompson hasn't made it to the bench. Now he will. No, he won't. He finally does. As the play goes in behind the Detroit goal again. For the first time, really, since they've been out there, the Red Wings have their line intact. Here's Reed Larson out on the right wing to Foligno. It skipped away from him. Dennis Potvin back at his own blue line. Wheels it out on the right side. That's Lorimer pulling away from McCourt's check. Lorimer shooting it into the Detroit zone. Ogrodnick hands it back now to Reed Larson up on the right side to Foligno. Mike made the move away from Howatt. Took the long shot. Resch deflected that to the corner. Nystrom didn't get it out. Very Long held it in. Here's McCourt going in after it, and Lorimer took him off the puck. Harris clears it out on the right side, and Nystrom heads out with Garry Howatt. Howatt over on the left side. That's Gordy Lane going after it. Larson took him off the puck. In behind his own net, Mike Foligno. Foligno's pass to John Ogrodnick. Now, Reed Larson still deep in the Detroit end. Barry Long cleared it out center ice, but right onto the stick of Harris, who brought it right back in. He was slowed up by Long, and Larson turns in behind his own goal. Reed Larson winding up. Here's Larson pouring out to center ice, over the line, into the Islander zone, trying to go through. He left it there. Dale McCourt had it. Dale McCourt, though, lost it, and it's cleared back to Howatt. Howatt over on the right side. That's Nystrom with it. Bob Nystrom. Turning, handing it back on the left side to Gord Lane. We've played 3 minutes of the third period, and it is 3-3. Dumping it into the Detroit zone, right to Rutherford. Jimmy Rutherford off to Nedemansky on the right wing. Big net, a long pass. He didn't get it through. Bossy stopped it, but he failed to hold it, and here's Larson coming back. Wound up from the blue line with a shot. Resch played that into the corner. Jean Potvin to Lewis in behind the goal. Nedemansky and Lewis. Lewis comes out with it. Now Lewis ahead too far for Trottier. Paul Woods came back after it, shot it back in. Jean Potvin goes in behind his own goal. Now Potvin, a long pass. Bossy when digging after it. Willie Huber will get there first. Huber being chased by Bossy, played at the opposite side to Tommy Bergman. Here's Bergman heading out. Four of the Wings move out. Nedemansky back to Bergman. And they whistle the pass over 2 lines offside. It'll come back inside the Detroit line. We have a pause in the action with the score at 3-3, and we'll be back in a moment. Bryan Trottier with his 34th goal of the season from Bossy and Lewis at the 18-second mark, and the game tied at 3-3. Tommy Bergman hands it back now to Willie Huber. Ahead to Hicks. Hicks made a good play to control it. Dennis Polonich cleared it in behind the goal. It comes back to the right point. Willie Huber has it there. Huber had to work away from the referee. Took a weak shot along the ice, and Resch, after stopping it, drops down on top of it. So the play will stay in the New York zone, and it hasn't been there much of the
No, the Wings
last
haven't.
period and a half.
The Wings haven't tested Resch at all since he came in starting the second period. They've got to start moving in and making the Islanders make mistakes. They played a real good first period of hockey. They were all skating. The defensemen were able to stand up inside the Islander blue line, but since that time, it's been pretty well played in Detroit's zone.
Face-off will be to the left side of the Islander goal. Dennis Polonich won the draw. Willie Huber. Huber fired the shot. It was loose out in front, but knocked away, and the Islanders have 3 men coming down. That's Garry Howatt driving it into the corner. Going in after it, Sutter put it right through the goal mouth. Danny Bolduc headed along the boards, failed to work it out, and they hold it there. The whistle stops the play just as Tambellini got it loose, and the face-off in the circle to the right of the Detroit net. Red Wings had a power play opportunity when Morrow went off at 8:12 of the first period. They scored on it, and that's been the only New York Islander penalty. Red Wings had 2 minors in the first period and another in the second. Polonich in against Tambellini, and again Polonich won the draw. Willie Huber hands it back to Denis, center ice to Hicks off his skate. Went into the New York zone, but Tambellini of New York turns with it. Now Steve Tambellini to Dave Lewis. Lewis's pass broken up by Barry Long. Denis Polonich was way inside the New York zone. That'll be a delayed offside, but the Islanders will bring it out. John Potvin. Potvin's pass got away from Sutter. Going into the corner, Howatt along with Bolduc. Bolduc dumped it into the other corner now for Hicks. Here's Glenn Hicks. Ahead to Polonich. Polonich just failed to get away from Potvin. They bump along the boards. Howatt left it there. Polonich picks it up. He starts Bolduc out. Danny Bolduc just knocked it off the boards into the New York end. Lorimer of the Islanders heads out. The Wings making the change. Now on the move, that's Lorimer around Mahavlich into the Detroit zone. Trying to go through, he did. And Rutherford stopped him, and the puck finally rolled right back to him. And Lorimer went through 5 Detroit Red Wings. We'll be back after we pause now for this.
Lorimer just makes an end-to-end rush, and he just split the defense. The Wings were making a change, and they weren't lined up properly when he broke over the Detroit blue line, but he caught them kind of napping, and Jimmy Rutherford had to come up with a big save.
Face-off stays in the Detroit zone. There's a shot by Denis Potvin, blocked by Errol Thompson. Thompson a little slow getting up. Reed Larson trying to pull away. Larson's pass bounced to the line. Potvin, another shot. The save made by Rutherford. And Larson cleared it along the boards, but not out. Errol Thompson knocked down Potvin's pass. Now Mahavlich, 3 of the Wings moving up. Mahavlich dropped it behind everybody. There'll be a penalty coming up now, as Lyle was really decked by Denis Potvin. And he'll go off for interference. And the Red Wings are going to have a power play.
And the reason for that is that Potvin hit Lyle, and Lyle hadn't touched the puck. Peter Mahavlich made a little drop pass, and as he came in to get it, he got nailed.
We'll be back with the Detroit power play after this message. Denis Potvin, he's off for interference at 5:46.
Well, here's a case where a little drop pass, and Denis Potvin come over and really upended Lyle, but he was not the puck carrier. He was just going to make a play on a loose puck. You're not allowed to hit a person unless he's handled the puck.
There's Willie Huber back along the blue line, handing it to John Ogrodnick. Back on the right point, Huber held it in there, played it back to Ogrodnick. He had to knock the pass down, taking it into the corner, back on the point. Huber drilled the shot, and out in front, Dale McCourt just didn't get to it, and coming right back to the Islanders. Over on the right side, Harris moving in is Kallur. Kallur went after that puck, and it got tangled up in his skates. Lane held it in, now drives it back to the New York line. Now Billy Harris again moves in with Kallur, and Kallur's going to take the puck in behind the Detroit goal. Goes into the corner, Foligno bumped him to the ice. And he's down on top of the puck. They'll bring the face-off out over the Detroit blue line. They used up 40 seconds of Potvin's penalty.
And the Islanders want the puck more than the Wings do right now. They're just out hustling Detroit. This Kallur, the Wings quit on the play. Now he just goes around behind, pulls himself away from Willie Huber. Now Polonich comes in and does the proper thing, or Foligno, I mean. He really played the body and got the play to stop at least.
So they brought it out over the Detroit blue line, and now the Wings bring in Paul Woods, LeBratton, and Nedemensky with Larson and Huber. Game tied at 3-3. We have a little more than 13 and a half minutes to play in the third period. Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Joe Louis Arena tomorrow night with game time 8 o'clock. Boxing matches in the afternoon. That's the reason for the hour difference between the normal 7 o'clock Sunday starting time. Now here is Reed Larson clearing it out center ice. Danny LeBratton off to Paul Woods. Woods scooping it along the boards. Willie Huber is in deep. He tried to work it back to Woods. He did. Woods in behind the goal. Paul Woods played it back out. LeBratton's shot right on, and Resch stopped that, and the rebound is grabbed off by Resch. You are watching Red Wing Hockey on TV 50.
Now, a fine play here by Paul Woods. He spots LeBratton right out in the slot out in front. LeBratton just backs away from the defenseman. He should have possibly stopped the puck and then shot it. He tried to get away before Resch could react, but he didn't get real good wood on it.
50.
He was in a perfect spot, just out there at the hash marks.
50 seconds remaining in the New York penalty. Paul Woods. Trottier won the face-off. That's Lane in behind his own goal. Gord Lane sent it back to the blue line. It comes out center ice. Wings have to come back onside as Nedemansky turns all the way back into the Detroit end and now heads out. Here's Big Ned on the move over the line. Ned looking for LeBratton. LeBratton goes after it. Danny LeBratton put it out in front. Nedemansky just dumped the shot. Willie Huber at the right point with it. Now Huber cleared it off the circle to Nedemansky. Here's a chance for Reed Larson. Didn't take the shot. Handed it back to Huber. Willie Huber played it along the boards in behind the goal. Resch went out to get it. They hold the puck to the boards. It came loose. Paul Woods off to Nedemansky. Now Woods in the corner. Paul Woods looking, trying to find somebody. Woods finally decided to center it, deflected to the corner again. Penalty has just a couple of seconds remaining, and here's Bourne heading out. Bob Bourne, Danny LeBratton, the only man back. Bourne went around him, took the shot, and Rutherford covered up there. And Jimmy Rutherford has really been the difference.
And there's what happens when you get caught with a forward back on the point. Willie Huber had moved in to the zone right into the goal crease in front of the New York goaltender.
Game tied at 3-3. We'll be back in a moment. Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel, our producer Marvin Muse. And here at the Nassau Coliseum, we have a little over 12 minutes to play in the hockey game. It is tied at 3-3. Wings led it 3-1 into the first period. Here's John Ogrodnick and Foligno moving out. 2-on-2, Foligno over the line. Mike Foligno lost it right there, knocked away by Lorimer, and coming back, Duane Sutter. Sutter carrying into the Detroit zone. He was sent to the ice by Tommy Bergman. Back out center ice is Lorimer. Now Bob Lorimer waiting for his team to come back onside. He starts Trottier in. Trottier with a shot at the goal post. And it bounced right to Rutherford, and the Wings got a break there.
Well, Jimmy Rutherford reacted possibly a little too soon on this shot. This is a nice little play here by Lorimer. He catches the Wings all going the wrong direction, the forwards, and he shoots it right along the ice. Jimmy raised up, figuring the puck was possibly going to be shot high. Hit the goal post, then he jumped on the loose on the rebound.
Might have been screened a little bit, too, because the Red Wing player went down in front of him. So it stays at 3-3. Now back is Dennis Potvin at the blue line. Over on the right side, Lorimer. Scooped it right up into the crowd. Checked there by Ogrodnick. They'll hold the play outside the Detroit line. There's Bob Lorimer. He made quite a rush a moment ago and right through. I'm going to say all five of the Red Wings had a little move at him.
And he made the play just there a moment ago for Trottier's shot. He had both Foligno and McCourt going the wrong direction, and he made a perfect pass back over to Trottier, and he shot it right along the ice and hit the post.
Now back at his own blue line, Dave Lewis on the New York Islander defense. Cleared it out to Jean Potvin. Potvin turned away from Dale McCourt's check. McCourt throwed him back into the zone, and that's Michel Bossy. Bossy clearing it over on the left side, back to Lewis. Dave Lewis ahead to Trottier. Here's Lewis again. Lewis playing it deep into the Detroit end. Ogrodnick moving in with Bossy. Rutherford came out of the goal, left it there for Jim Korn. Now Mike Foligno. Foligno didn't get it out. It'll be kept in by Tonelli. Trottier in behind the goal. Now Trottier kicking away at it and moving in. Korn took it away from him, but Jim Korn tied up to the boards immediately. Foligno didn't get it out. It ended up in the crowd again, and they're going to bring the face-off still in the circle in the Detroit end.
And do you notice how much the Islander club is moving into the Detroit zone? They're sending three forwards right in on the puck carrier, moving their defensemen a good 6 or 8 feet inside the Red Wing blue line. They're trying to hem them up.
Peter Mahavlich comes out now with Danny Bolduc on one wing, the right side, replacing Errol Thompson. George Lyle on the left wing. Very long, Reed Larson, the two defensemen. That's Billy Harris in against Mahavlich. Mahavlich wins the draw. Larson has to hustle back after it, given a bump along the boards by Nystrom. George Lyle flipped it back toward the line. Here's Lyle picking it up, but he didn't get it out. Nystrom takes it into the boards, being checked by Larson. He still worked it very long as Harris covered up. Harris knocked down, put it out in front. And that shot deflected off Rutherford into the corner. And it's the Islanders just going after it. The Wings not doing much about it. Larson sent it to the boards, but not out again. Now Reed Larson does pick it up, carries it out center ice. The Wings move 3-on-2. Larson sends Danny Bolduc in toward the corner. And Bolduc just skated in and left it there. And the Islanders are going to shoot it down the ice. And a good break for the Wings because there'll be an icing call as back after it is Larson. And the play right back into the New York end. The Stars rock out at night. Rod Stewart, Fleetwood Mac, Supertramp, and many more team up for Solid Gold 79 Monday night at 8, right here on TV 50.
Well, they just are outplaying the Wings in Detroit's zone. They just are out hustling, out moving them. This puck did everything but go in. It hit Jimmy Rutherford and went by the open corner. But they want the puck more than the Wings do. The Wings appear tired or dead on their feet for some reason or other after playing a strong first 20 minutes.
So Paul Woods with LeBratton and Nedemansky, the forward line of the Wings. This time the face-off won by Wayne Merrick. Morrow is number 6 out there, playing his first National Hockey League game. That's Gordy Lane. Paul Woods watching him carefully. Lane in behind his own goal. Now clears it to Morrow, and Morrow shoots it down the ice. There'll be another icing call. And the Wings back after it as Willie Huber is there. And just the forechecking of Paul Woods, Sid.
See, this is what the Wings have failed to do in the last 30 minutes of this hockey game. They can make the Islanders make mistakes by moving in, too. Paul Woods is moving in deep. LeBratton and Nedemansky are covering for him in case they make a little short pass. That gives the defenseman an opportunity to stand inside the Islander blue line and force them to ice the puck. It's when you give them the ice and let them come up, you're in trouble.
Face off to the right of Chico Resch, who came on to start the second period, has really not been tested. In that time, we have 9:49 to play in the hockey game. Again, Merrick won the draw. That's Morrow in behind his own goal, trying to pull away from Woods. Woods took it away. Woods with a shot, and that deflected off Morrow wide of the goal. Resch didn't get it out. It's kept in by Woods back on the line. Korn played it to center ice, and Willie Huber has to come back after it. Now to Nedemansky, just played it to the line. Gord Lane knocks it down. Cleared a short pass ahead. Bourne lost it there to Woods, and now Bourne takes it again. And Danny LeBratton stopped that. Woods was stopped by Bourne at center ice. Jim Korn's pass will be taken by Lane of New York. Now Gordy Lane clearing it in behind the Detroit goal. Rutherford sends it over on the left wing, and Danny LeBratton starts out. Here's LeBratton. Right wing pass to Nedemansky. Nedemansky just drifted it into the New York end. The Wings go for a player change as the Islanders head back. Anders Keller back into the Detroit zone. Keller trying to work around Polonich, slid it into the corner. Jim Korn, number 26 of the Wings, after a rolling puck. Korn knocks it down, brings it out center ice. Now Jim Korn charges over the line, trying to work around Lorimer. Took it into the corner, they bumped there. Puck cleared along the boards, back on the right point. Reed Larson, his shot was blocked. Sutter sending it out center ice. Polonich couldn't get to it. Tambellini given a bump by Glenn Hicks, and Hicks comes up with the pucks and starts right back out for Detroit. Now the Wings have 3 men moving as Hicks goes over the line. Glenn Hicks goes to the corner, put it off to the side of the net. Polonich was knocked down. Here's Bolduc digging it out of the corner, but he couldn't handle it. Now 3 of the Islanders head back. Denis Potvin to Sutter. Duane Sutter into the Detroit zone. Sutter goes to the corner, centered it. Polonich was there to stop that. Now Denis Polonich, a right wing pass for Bolduc. Danny Bolduc. He lost it, taken away, so Polonich goes into the corner after it. Out on the left wing now to Hicks, back to Bolduc, down the right side. Danny Bolduc tried to get around Lewis. Lewis sent him to the ice. It goes to the corner. Lorimer has it there. A little less than 8 minutes to play in the third period. That's Bob Lorimer. Played it off McCourt. It comes right back to Lewis from center ice. A shot wide of the Detroit goal. John Ogrodnick, number 25, the Red Wing rookie, starts out with a pass to Reed Larson. Larson at center ice. Larson dumps it into the corner in the New York end. Trottier overskated it, but Lewis will take it. Lewis is passed down the left wing to Tonelli. It comes out now to Trottier. Here's Bryan Trottier moving over the line into the Detroit zone. That's Jean Potvin, slowed up by Ogrodnick. Dale McCourt has it. Now McCourt in behind Jimmy Rutherford. McCourt, center ice now to Mike Foligno. Foligno with Lewis ahead of him, got it over the line. Ogrodnick digging in after it. Tried to work it back to Foligno. Mike handed it in the corner now to Ogrodnick. Right out in front, and Ogrodnick checked. There's Foligno with a shot, and Dale McCourt scores on the rebound. And the Red Wings lead it again 4-3.
One of the few chances that the Wings have had, and Dale McCourt jumped on a loose puck after Foligno tried to put it back in. And it was Ogrodnick. Ogrodnick from deep in the corner. He tries to make a play back. Foligno gets a hold of it and walked back to Ogrodnick. Watch Ogrodnick walk out in front of the net now. He comes right back out. He's hooked from behind, and it comes through, and Mike Foligno fails to put it in. But Dale McCourt is Johnny on the spot to get this rebound, coming right back out to him. And with nobody in the goal crease, he buries it.
Dale
Ogrodnick
McCourt.
just jumped out of it, by the way.
Dale McCourt with his 22nd goal on the season. Ogrodnick and Foligno, I would think, at 13:01. Wings lead it by a score of 4-3. So now the Wings with a 1-goal lead. 6:40 to go. Play back in the Detroit zone. Jim Korn, number 26. That's Lyle just deflecting it out center ice. Lane has it. Gord Lane playing it back now to Morrow. Morrow shooting it back into the Detroit zone. Denis Polonich heads in behind Rutherford. Now Polonich pulling away from Tonelli's check. Starts Huber out. Willie Huber. Now Huber gave it to Peter Mahavlich. He played it off to the side of the New York goal. Going after it, Morrow. Wings changing on the move. Down the boards on the right side. That's Morrow trying to work in. Jimmy Rutherford played it away from him. Peter Mahavlich. Mahavlich deep in his own zone. George Lyle kicked it back to Mahavlich. Wings having trouble deep in their own end. Here's Bossy taking it away. Put it right out in front, but there's Nedemansky. Now Big Ned heads back. He's got Lyle on the left side. Nedemansky over the line. Sends it to Lyle. Lyle took the shot and Resch made the save. And that puck just did clear off the front of the goal. Wings with a pretty play between Lyle and Nedemansky. We have now 5:40 to go in the hockey game. 4-3 Detroit. Long pass skipped off a Red Wing stick, so there's no icing. Back after it, Reed Larson. Now Larson sends Paul Woods out on the left side. LeBratton. 3 of the Wings move in. Here's Danny LeBratton. LeBratton took a shot that bounced off to the side of the net. In along the boards, going after it, Des Potvin. Potvin clearing it out to Merrick. Over on the right side, Anders Kallur. Kallur was slowed up and stopped by Barry Long, and the puck comes out center ice again. Dale McCourt from Ogrodnick and Foligno at 13:01, and the Wings lead it 4-3. Now Larson, a left wing pass coming up to LeBratton. Woods on the right side, Nedemansky. Now Nedemansky took it over the line, left it there, going in after it, LeBratton. Came back to Dale McCourt. Wings are changing on the move. Sid, I was going to check that Red Wing bench. We have not seen Errol Thompson in the third period. No.
Well, he got hit, Bruce, with a shot. Remember early in the third period, I noticed Lefty Wilson had been working on him, and he probably has a bruised instep or something. It was on the foot.
Now Korn sends it back to Willie Huber at the Detroit line. 4.5 minutes to play. Huber lifting it deep into the New York zone. There's Foligno. Bought it right out in front. He's given a jolt. Dennis Potvin goes after it. Lorimer made a flying leap at Foligno. They hold the puck in the corner. Face off to the left of the New York net. The Wings lead it 4-3. We'll be back in a moment.
This is the case. They're cleaning up the ice. They're cleaning up the ice, right? There must be a chip. But here's a case where Mike Foligno comes in and pulls around and tries to do what Korn did, pull right back in front of the net, but you notice he's pretty well off balance. He got the puck over to the edge of the net, and he gets knocked over the goaltender's stick, fell right back in the crease, but then Dale McCourt went in the corner and froze the puck with Potvin.
New York Islanders won here against Quebec 5-0 on the 9th of February. Since then, they've played 3 games at home, tied 1, and they've lost the other 2. So the Nassau Coliseum ice has not been all that friendly for them. That's Nystrom. He sent it out center ice, heading back after it. Korn digging with him is Harris, but Willie Huber takes it. Huber played it off now to Mike Foligno, ahead to Ogrodnick. That's McCourt at center ice. Foligno coming up the left side on the wrong wing. Mike got it into the corner, and John Potvin took it there, cleared it off on the left side. Harris just played it right out to Willie Huber. Huber shoots it back in. A little less than 4 minutes to play in the game. 4-3 Detroit. Garry Howatt. Howatt given a check there by Dale McCourt and Foligno in it, and they stop the play. And now Howatt and Foligno make a move at one another. And the 2 linesmen and the team moves in there very quickly. And with the score 4-3 Detroit, we're back after we pause for this. We have 3 minutes, 47 seconds to play in the game. We have now Denis Polonich with Bolduc and Hicks, the forward line of the Wings. That's Hicks, number 23, going in along the boards with Sutter. The puck came loose, though, and the Islanders control it. Tambellini, Steve Tambellini, playing it over on the left side to defenseman Dave Lewis. Lewis handing it back, and Jean Potvin brings it out center ice. Here's Potvin drilling it in behind the Detroit goal. Rutherford stopped it there, cleared it into the corner. It comes all the way back to Potvin. He fired it, and it went wide. Now Dave Lewis trying to hold it in. He did. Lewis sends it off to the corner. Duane Sutter checked there by Reed Larson. They battle along the boards after it. Denis Polonich. Polonich got it loose. He and Lewis take each other out of the play. Now that's Lewis turning with it. Sending it back for Bourne. Brown took the shot. That's knocked away by Bolduc, and Danny Bolduc just slid it out center ice. Polonich went after it. That's Tambellini and Polonich battling for it. They go in along the boards, bump each other there, and the play is stopped. And we have now 2 minutes, 53 seconds to go.
And the clock gets to be such a big factor now. The Wings just have to try and forecheck and keep throwing it in the zone, make the Islanders do all the work.
Sid, the line of Polonich, with Polonich and Hicks particularly, the two of them, they have...
They've controlled things.
Yeah,
they have. And I like the line, too, of Nedemansky, LeBratton, and Paul Woods. Because of Paul Woods' hustle and skating, they've had more than their share of the play.
Well, we've got Errol Thompson back out on the right side of the line now with Peter Mahavlich and Lyle. That's Mahavlich controlling the puck, bouncing along with it. Resch stops. Denis Potvin goes in behind his own net after it. 2:45 to play. Trottier handing it back. Moving out with it now is Lorimer. Bob Lorimer down the right side. He was checked from behind by Peter Mahavlich. Jim Korn didn't get it out. Trottier played it back for Denis Potvin. Here's Potvin moving in front. Took the shot and Rutherford blocked it. Oh, what a save. And now it's Peter Mahavlich lifting it in the air, bouncing it out center ice again. And Denis Potvin back after it. Now Potvin turned around, still controls it. Here now a chance for Tonelli. He drilled the shot and Rutherford stopped that, and he grabs the rebound and holds on. And Jimmy Rutherford's held the fort.
Jimmy Rutherford has played a strong hockey game here all day long. This Potvin is something else. He gives Peter Mahavlich a little deep right here and just puts this puck through his feet and then sets up Tonelli over on the right side, and the whole wing club is over the other side. And Jimmy Rutherford takes this high shot, chest high, bounces off him a little bit, but he freezes it.
So that keeps the play to the right side of the Detroit goal. The Wings 4, New York Islanders 3. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the hockey game. Tomorrow night, the Red Wings, Toronto Maple Leafs at the Joe Louis Arena. Trottier in against McCourt. McCourt won the draw. Mike Foligno couldn't get it out. It went in behind the net. Going into the corner, Reed Larson played it ahead. Ogrodnick took a swing at it. That didn't come out. Ogrodnick threw it back to the line. And they're going to penalize Ogrodnick for catching the puck.
Oh,
that hurts.
This is a terrible penalty with 1 minute and 59 seconds to go. They're calling a penalty for him closing his hand on the puck.
Bobby Crom is up on the Detroit bench and screaming.
I can't believe that they would call it with 1 minute and 59 seconds to go. It's a case where the puck is bounced up off the boards. Ogrodnick catches and just threw it backwards. He put it right on the Islanders' stick, which was a mistake to begin with. And there's Bobby Crom. He's shaking his head, waving. I mean, that is something that is unbelievable at this time in a hockey game. But it has been called, and the Wings are going to have to fight off the Islanders with an extra man.
Islanders take a timeout. We'll be back after this message. So John Ogrodnick in the penalty box for closing his hand on the puck at 18:01. I guess you'd have to say he did indeed catch it and threw it, but it's something that happens a good many times and normally not too often called.
He did close his hand on it, there's no doubt about that, but it's a penalty that when a game boils down to the last minute or so, you don't call real cheap penalties, and there's no doubt that was a cheap infraction.
Paul Woods and Willie Huber off on the left corner of your screen are over there arguing it. Willie Huber just shows how he made the play. But there's Ogrodnick. We have a minute 59 to serve, or rather to play here in the third period. You can rest assured that if the Islanders don't click early, then Resch will be heading in and they'll be playing 6 men to 4 down the ice. Dale McCourt in against Trottier again. That puck lay loose, taken now by Bossy. Bossy sent it back to Potvin. Here's Denis Potvin. Back it comes to Jean Potvin. That's Bossy with it. Here's a chance now for Denis Potvin. He overskated it. He came right back and handed it to Trottier. Now back to Denis Potvin again. It skipped to Jean Potvin. That's Bossy with it. Bossy checked by Barry Long, and Long drills it down the ice. And a minute and a half remains. 4-3 Detroit. Islanders have the extra man. A minute 25 in the game. John Potvin. Potvin cleared it off to Bossy. Now that's Trottier. Swinging it in behind the Detroit goal along the boards on the left side. Bossy has it. Mike Bossy playing it back to Jean Potvin. And Paul Wood stopped that, and Wood scoops it back in to the New York end. And now a minute 5 remains. Jean Potvin again. Deep in his own zone. Now Potvin ahead to Trottier. Trottier out on the right side to Bossy. Mike Bossy into the Detroit end, goes to the corner with it. Put it out in front, and it's tipped away. Going into the corner, Trottier. Trottier holding it off the rim of the circle. Back it comes to Denis Potvin. Now the New York goaltender's gone to the bench for an extra attacker. He came off the bench and went back down the ice. So Resch, who had moved all the way to the bench, turned around and came back. And we have now 30 seconds to go. Paul Woods knocked it away again. Here's Wayne Merrick. Wayne Merrick, center ice. It comes to Bossy. Now Bossy's pass. Here's Denis Potvin with a rolling puck, and they whistled it down. The puck knocked down.
And Paul Woods and Dale McCourt, Barry Long, and Willie Huber have just done a tremendous job of keeping this Islander club from getting a real good shot on net.
Well, the Islander goal is empty. Now the Red Wings have taken a 30-second timeout, and I imagine more than any other thing to rest Paul Woods.
There's no doubt about this. This is a good move by Bobby Crom to rest the players that he had on the ice. What a job Paul Woods has done. He just keeps buzzing and making them make plays that they don't want to make.
That's Huber and Woods leaning over, talking to Crom, Dale McCourt, number 10.
You know, Bruce, at 21 seconds like this could be the difference between getting in the playoffs or not being in the playoffs. This could turn out to be one of the real big wins of the season if the Wings can hang on for 21 seconds.
Well, they'll be facing 6 New York Islander attackers, with the Wings having 4. Back to defend. The Islanders with an empty net. 21 seconds to play in the game. Ogrodnick has 22 seconds remaining in the power play, or rather in the penalty. So he'll not get back on unless the Islanders should score. 4-3, the Wings lead. Now Dale McCourt and Paul Woods with Barry Long and Willie Huber. Merrick, Bourne, Kallur, Bossy, Denis Potvin, Bryan Trottier. A lot of power out there for the Islanders. Merrick will go in against Dale McCourt, just over the Detroit blue line. Well, you talk about suspense, we've got it. Merrick and McCourt. Puck is dropped, the Islanders had it for the moment. That's Bourne bringing it in, and Willie Huber flipped it right into the penalty box.
Cut off
4 seconds.
4 seconds, and every 4 seconds helps now. The big thing here is the Islanders spread out across the blue line, and the Wings can't cover them all. It's how far or how wide does Paul Woods play over on the left side.
They'll bring the face-off just inside the Detroit line now. 17 seconds to go. Third period, 4-3 Detroit. Wings short a man, the Islanders, 2 extra attackers, they've lifted their goaltender. Now McCourt kept it out, it's drilled back in. Digging in after it, that's Trottier. Trottier took the shot, hit the goal post. And there's another shot by Potvin, knocked down in front. That puck is loose, a pile-up of players on it. And 6 seconds remain.
And Paul Woods again, right in the middle of the pack. He's the one that was knocked backwards and fell on the puck. But the shot, Trottier, this shot hits the post dead on. Jimmy Rutherford falls backwards, and he didn't realize it come back out to the other point, and it was fired right back in, and it hit somebody out in front, possibly Willie Huber. Yes, it does. Hits Willie Huber. Willie was hoping to freeze it, and when it bounced loose from him, Paul Woods is the one that gets upended and falls on the puck right down there at his feet.
Well, that'll keep the face-off deep in the Detroit end. 6 seconds to play. And 6 New York attackers all in deep. In deep, my goodness, there's nobody near the blue line.
Only one player back, Bossy. He's going to be the shooter if they should win the face-off.
Merrick and Dale McCourt, an all-important draw again. If McCourt could win it and drag it into the corner, that's what the Wings want. Referee Wally Harris says don't drop it yet till he gets everybody where he wants them. 6 seconds to go, but Merrick won the draw. Here's Bossy with a shot. That deflected to the corner. Bourne put it out in front. They score! No, they didn't. The time is out.
Time is out. This goal's not going to count.
There will be no goal. Oh, the time just went out, and the light was green, not red. And the Wings win it 4-3. Can you believe it?
The goal judge has no jurisdiction over this. The green light comes on. That means he can't turn the red light on. This puck was backhanded from in deep by Bob Bourne. It comes through. It hits. There's Trottier. But now the puck definitely went in, but the clock had run out.
The red light did not come on. The green light was there, and that meant the time had run out before the goal judge pressed the button. So the Wings got a great break with one hitting the goal post, and then the other coming in just as time ran out. So here is a third period scoring summary brought to you by Magnavox and Fretter Appliance Stores. With the Wings leading 3-2 going into the third period, Bryan Trottier scored at the 18-second mark from a scramble out in front of the Detroit goal. And now the Islanders continued to carry the play to the Wings, and Jimmy Rutherford and a couple of breaks off goalposts held the Islanders off. But then at 13:01, it was Ogrodnick and Foligno that set up Dale McCourt, who banged in a goal at the 13:01, his 22nd, and the Wings led it 4-3. And Ogrodnick went off for closing his hand on the puck with 1:59 to play in the hockey game. And the Islanders did everything, just stormed around the Red Wing goal, but the Red Wings held them off. So the Red Wings, we didn't get the shots on goal in that third period, but they're going to have to say thank you to a little guy in the Detroit goal. I'm talking about Jimmy Rutherford, and we'll be talking more about him and what's transpired here this afternoon. The end of the game, the final score, the Red Wings 4, the New York Islanders 3, will return to the Nassau Coliseum in just a moment.
Thank you for being with us, and have a safe drive home.
Well, the Red Wings maybe had one coming, Sid, and they indeed got it here this afternoon in beating the New York Islanders 4-3 with the pucks bouncing off goalposts on a couple of occasions and the clock running out just in the nick of time.
And great goaltending by Jimmy Rutherford. The post was his big friend, though, too. But here's the last shot of the game. It went through, it hit Rutherford, bounced to Trottier. Trottier did put it back in off Rutherford's pad. But there's no way they could count it, Bruce, because the red light could not come on. They're all synchronized with the timer. The green light was on, so the game was over, and the Wings wind up with a very well, I wouldn't say deserved, but a big win for them because they did prevail and hang on 4-3.
Well, the Red Wings in the first period were outshot 13-11, but they led the hockey game 3-1 and goals by LeBratton, Ogrodnick, and Korn. But the Islanders came back, outshot them 10-3 in the second period, scored the only goal by Howatt, Rutherford the difference there. Then Trottier tied it up just 18 seconds into the third period. Dale McCourt on the rebound gave Detroit a 4-3 lead, and when Ogrodnick got that penalty for holding on to the puck with less than 2 minutes to go, 1:59, that really added to the suspense.
Well, it certainly did, but at the same time, when you have Paul Woods and Dale McCourt up front doing such a job, and Barry Long and Willie Huber back at the blue line, and they really stopped the Islanders from having a good scoring chance until there was just the 6 seconds on a face-off, and the puck was shot in, hit somebody, went over in the corner, and Bob Bourne went and retrieved it. And I know that he figured, I'm not going to have time to shoot, so he just backhanded it over. But the Wings hung on. Great defensive play by 4 players in the last minute and a half or so.
Well, in that last period, the Wings had 8 shots, and the New York Islanders had 9. The overall shots on goal, Detroit 22, the New York Islanders 32. They don't pick 3 stars here, but if they did, I'd have to say that Paul Woods would be right toward the top of my list, and Jimmy Rutherford have to be there too.
No doubt about that. They both played exceptional games.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs will be here tomorrow night, or rather will be at Joe Louis Arena tomorrow night. Game time again, 8 o'clock. Like to have you with us on WJR Radio. And it'll be our next telecast coming up a week from Thursday, the 13th of the month of March. Final score here at the Nassau Coliseum, the Detroit Red Wings 4, the New York Islanders 3. We invite you to join us on March 13th at 7:30 when the Red Wings meet the Bruins at Boston. Until then, this is Bruce Martin along with Sid Abels saying goodbye from New York.